Microphone check 1 2 1 2 3 4. Microphone 1 check 1 2. Microphone 2 check 1 2. Microphone 2 check 1 2. Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. Good evening from the Buffalo State Ice Arena as we bring you live coverage of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. Tonight on the Nickel City Hockey Network, it's a divisional matchup in the Upstate New York Collegiate Hockey League as it's Niagara University visiting Buffalo State as the Bengals hope to stop a growing losing streak. Hello, I'm Aaron Elpern alongside Sean McHugh as we get you ready for puck drop with the Ivy Leaf Pharmacy pregame show. And Sean, a busy start to the Buff State season, but so far that start to the season has been stuck in reverse.
You can say that again, Aaron. The Buffalo State Bengals are in unfamiliar territory right now, riding a 4-game losing streak with a Ralph Kruger-esque goal differential of -18, with a 5-1 and 9-1 loss to a resurgent rival in the University at Buffalo, and then a tough loss to the Georgia Bulldogs by a score of 4-3, and then capped off by a solid again thumping by Binghamton 7-2. There were shorthanded lineups. There have been defensive lapses, to say the least. And the worst part, just the compete level of the opponents has just not been there for most of this losing streak.
Yeah, it's basically being outcompeted in just about every game, outworked in those games, and it shows in terms of some of the results that have been seen so far. If there is a silver lining, the 3 losses, they're all non-division losses. So the Bengals haven't really shot themselves in the foot when it comes to a UNY CHL playoff perspective, but something really needs to change in the room and fast, or just making the playoffs becomes a tall order.
Yes, like you said, silver lining. The Bengals are undefeated in Metro Division play, facing one of the favorites in the division to start the year as well, in an impressive win against Brockport. On the other side of the rink, the Niagara Purple Eagles have added to an already incredibly talented group off of their inaugural season last year that saw them get a berth at Nationals.
Yeah, like Buff State at Nationals, they went 2-1 in Philadelphia, and the only loss was to a team that went all the way to the finals. The Bengals' loss was to Babson. That kept them out of the quarterfinals. The Purple Eagles' loss, meanwhile, was to Binghamton in the preliminaries. Niagara University comes into this game off a win last night over St. John Fisher by an 8-3 score that moves them to 3-1 overall, 2-0 in the division.
Yes, and the Purple Eagles have been led by veteran forward Zach Briggs and Matthew Riddle, 8 and 7 points respectively, also getting contributions from some new faces as well, notably Chad Moore, 4 goals, 6 points, including the game-winning goal against Georgia. And the Purple Eagles added another stalwart to an already loaded blue line with Case Cook on defense with 3 goals, 2 assists, as now the Purple Eagles get offense from the back end as well.
Niagara coming in here with a good start already to their season. We'll see whether or not the Buff State losing streak can come to a close here. It's a divisional game here in the Upstate New York Collegiate Hockey League. Face-off coming up next. And here we are at the Buffalo State Ice Arena as we are set for puck drop in a UNY CHL Metro Division matchup. It is the Niagara University Purple Eagles facing off against the Buffalo State College Bengals. Good evening, I'm Aaron Elpern alongside color commentator Sean McHugh. Our camera operator tonight, John Dwyer, as we get ready for puck drop in what should be an excellent matchup here on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Two teams that played early on last year and split their season series in last year's pair of games right at the start of the season. So it's been it's been more than a full year since these two teams have met.
Yes, and Niagara has come, it's hard to say they've come a long way considering the success they've had, but they, in their inaugural season, made a run at Nationals, and they look just as strong, if not stronger. So the Bengals, if they're going to continue on the path they've been on for the last couple years, this is a game they have to have, especially because they have been just flat out bad the last 4 games.
And Niagara with a 16-win season in their inaugural year. You almost kind of look at them as a mainstay now as they just added another team. It's almost an army of hockey players there in the Niagara campus with all the hockey teams that are currently playing in Purple Eagle uniforms. Happy to see one of their teams here tonight on the Buffalo State campus as a loose puck here in the neutral zone as we're about 25 seconds into the action. Mitch Thornton finding control of it here just below our broadcast position. Nice move there to get that puck up ice. Joe Lotempio into the offensive zone as a lane here. Shot in on goal. Lascelles with the save there with the glove. There was a rebound there briefly, but it was a Niagara player that was the first one to it to clear it out of danger. Puck comes across the Buff State blue line, and Joe Lotempio circles into his own zone, looking to start it up ice. He finds Thornton, and Thornton dumps a backhand in on goal. Lascelles sees Elliott Hunt charging up the left wing, looking for a rebound, so he covers that one up. We get a stoppage in play. About 50 seconds into the action, 19:08 remaining here in the first period. No score yet.
Very good shift to open the game here by the Bengals, getting a scoring chance from the captain, Joe Lotempio, right away. Really good D-to-D action between Mitch Thornton and Ryan Hahn. Quick pass up the middle, touch tap up to Lotempio to get a quick shot off the left wing. Test the goaltender early, and that's exactly what Buff State needed to do right now. They are not on their heels. That first shift, they were in aggressive mode right there.
Scrambled off the draw there. A couple players running into each other. It comes out back towards the blue line here. Team still scrambling for possession there as Stotz and DiMatteo get locked up there just in front of the net. Train eventually finds possession. Starts to break out up the far side. This is Marcus Bratton with some speed. Can't get that pass beyond Cole Newman in the neutral zone. Now another battle for a loose puck right in front of the penalty box door. Eventually it comes out to Jankowski, and now Cole Newman back inside his own zone with a little bit of room to start it up ice. However, that one hits a Niagara stick, and now along the blue line, Stotz doing some good work there to make sure it gets up ice. Only getting it a couple of feet inside the Niagara blue line, however. Now back into the neutral zone, it's Sardina picking it up, floating it back into the Niagara end slowly, but apparently fast enough for there to be an icing call on that one. I thought that there was maybe a play for the Niagara defenseman on that one. The referee seeing that otherwise. And we have an icing call and faceoff coming back down into the Buff State territory with 18:21 to go in the first.
Yeah, but Niagara looking to establish some zone time for the first time in this young first period. It's been Buff State through the neutral zone and looking to gain some momentum offensively. And again, off the faceoff, looks like Buffalo State's going to try to clear.
Dene finding control of that and wrapping it around behind the net. It is Abbott, though, getting to it first for the Purple Eagles and keeping it deep in the offensive zone. Ethan Knopf back to the point. Cook fans on a shot there, but Knopf picks it up, and now a scramble for a loose puck there. Brett Sardina gets the better of that exchange and ends up clearing it through the neutral zone, but softly enough back into Niagara, and then it doesn't go for icing. Quickly back up ice as Cook makes sure that one gets back into the offensive zone. Has the puck on his stick yet again along the face-off dot in the neutral zone, just dumps it in, then goes for a change. Two new defensemen coming out there for Niagara as Crapsey looks to start the breakout for Buff State. Ethan Knopf getting in the way of his pass attempt, though, up the right wing. And now Knopf has control of it along the outside of the circle. He takes a tough angle shot that misses the net and then comes off the far sideboards. Allows Buff State to get it up ice. Deflected into the offensive zone by Mark Hager, but that one's going to go for icing as unable to really control that pass and just ended up playing it forward into the offensive zone, so all the way back into the Buff State territory. This faceoff will come now. 17:23 to go in the period. You might notice we don't have a time up there on our scoreboard tonight. Some technical issues, and we're unable to give you that, but we will continue to keep you updated on the time remaining throughout the broadcast.
Oh, right off a skate to start, but the Bengals again doing a really good job getting possession and looking to carry the puck out of the breakout. They just got to connect on that pass so they can establish some zone time.
Pass was on the tape, but unable to be handled there. And now Thornton has to come forward from his defensive position to make sure it gets back in across the blue line. Some light pressure here from the Bengals as it's Hager trying to harass Wojciechowski there. Gets it up ice to Cross, and now Cross with some room through the neutral zone. Dumps it right in on goal. There was a rebound there briefly, but Ryan Hahn, the first one to it. Gets that one to Crapsey, and now up the right wing where Hager looks to start the breakout, but he just blindly flings it back towards the net. And it's a Niagara player that finds it. Now he's in a battle for a puck here in the corner. Gets some help from Mitch Thornton.
That's not the place to be doing that.
Niagara finding possession here, even though Buff State's had a couple of opportunities to get that puck out of the zone. Redirected shot on the way through as Cross got a decent bit of that one. Ended up being redirected just wide, but it's still the Purple Eagles with possession. Low to high game being played here as the shot comes in from Knopf. Right in on goal. A.J. White swallows it up, holds on for a whistle. A little bit too much time there in the defensive zone when it shouldn't have been that difficult to get the puck out. As 16:20 now remaining here in the first period, the first sustained zone time for the Purple Eagles.
Yes, and like you had said, Aaron, the Bengals had plenty of opportunities to get the puck out. They were caught flat-footed a little too much, and Niagara was able to just move the puck around pretty much at will. And now they're starting to get set up in the offensive zone.
Bengals find possession, can't get it out yet again as DiMattio's shot goes upstairs and towards the head and neck area of A.J. White. He does make the save, and now Ryan Miller carries it through the neutral zone. Flips
Great
it behind
defense.
the defenseman, and a nice play there to step up. Blake Train making a good play to make sure that they're. Oh, that was almost an opportunity in front as Joe Lotempia with that quick look in front. Good defense as well, though, as the Niagara player made sure he got a stick on that as Ryan Miller was wide open in the slot.
Yeah, really great heads-up D right there by NU. There was a turnover and a little lapse in communication. One Purple Eagle had their head up and saved a sure goal.
Moore coming up the left wing, takes a hard snapshot there. It goes wide and high off the back glass. Now Cole Newman finds a loose puck as he looks to move it up the right wing. Nobody there to accept a pass, however. And DiMattio fires another shot. That one also upstairs on A.J. White. That one caught him in the right shoulder. Comes out to Elliott Hunt. Now he has an opportunity to get this one up ice. Dumping it in from distance. Swallowed up by LaSalle, the Niagara netminder. Holds on for a whistle here with 15:18 now left here in the first period.
Yep, and really smart play there by Elliott Hunt from the neutral zone at the end of his shift, just putting a puck on net with a little bit of steam, forcing the goaltender to hang on to it so the Bengals can get one of their scoring lines out there to try and establish some more offensive zone time.
A little bit of a new look combination here with Sardina, Jankowski, and Luke Stotz. They had a pretty good first shift out there. Let's see how they can follow it up here on their second trip onto the ice. Puck comes out to the Niagara captain, Briggs, and he tries to feed a pass into the neutral zone, but Jankowski gets in the way and sends it right back into Purple Eagle territory. Another passing attempt comes up to Cristaldi. Now he comes into the offensive zone for Niagara. Shot coming in from the bottom part of the face-off circle. A.J. White with a good angle on that shot. Makes the save, holds on for a whistle. Now 14:52 to go here in the first period. Still awaiting our game's first goal.
Yeah, A.J. White has been sharp early to start. He hasn't faced any crazy high-danger chances, but what we were used to seeing from him for a long time was when the puck hits him, it sticks to him. We're getting a lot of that today from A.J. White, and that's a really good sign. And even when there's a rebound, he's doing a great job of steering it out of harm's way.
Yeah, controls that one nicely towards the corner. And now Sardina taking that puck away from a Niagara player, but good recovery there from Marcus Bratton to take it right back for the Purple Eagles. Bratton now back towards the point. Gets that one to Cook, and he makes sure it keeps it in deep in the offensive zone. Now Cristaldi picking it up there in the far corner. Low to high play there as Abbott's shot comes from the right point. That again was upstairs on A.J. White. That might be the strategy here, is to make him play it with his arms or his upper body, as that's 3 or 4 shots already up into the shoulder area of A.J. White. That one coming from P.J. Abbott in the right point. Now it's his defensive partner Cook skating it through the offensive zone. Over there in the far corner with 2 different Bengals converging on him. Nice little bit of body contact there from Brett Sardina, but Cook still with possession.
Man, that's some strong skating right there.
Back to the point to P.J. Abbott. Cross ice to Marcus Bratton. That pass doesn't connect, but it's right in the skates of Bratton. Now he gets it back on his stick. Rung around behind the net. Now Niagara making a change here in the offensive zone. 2 chances as that rebound came right out to Bratton. That backhand shot right in on goal. A.J. White making 2 saves in that exchange, as now Niagara is doing excellent job here in the offensive zone. This group out there for Buff State has been stuck in their own end for quite a bit here.
Yeah, this is bad. This is how you get scored on. And this Niagara is just bludgeoning the Bengals with pressure right now.
Good hit there from Mitch Thornton to create a loose puck, but still Niagara with possession there in that far corner. 3 players that are fresh have already joined the fray since Niagara's entered the zone here. It's 5 tired Bengals as they finally get the clear, but that one's going to be hard off the glass. So it's going to go for icing, and the same 5 Bengals will have to stay out there after this whistle. And it's a tired group that's out there as they had been out there all the way from the previous face-off all the way in the Niagara zone, which was a good minute 40 seconds ago.
One thing I'm noticing, like the fancy behind-the-back, no-look spinorama passes, boys, you're on a 4-game losing streak. You're in your own end. You don't get to do that. Get the puck out of your own end. I mean, NU has literally had 3 full-length shifts worth of time in your own end with no resistance whatsoever.
And they have a tired group of Bengals out there trying to play defense. A.J. White with a big save right there, getting a much-needed cover as Buff State getting an opportunity to make a needed change here, getting 5 fresh players out there. That was a tired group that had been run down in their own zone. But that's something yet again, short Buff State bench here tonight doesn't need to be doing, doesn't need to be spending extended shifts in their own end.
They need to get better in the dot too. That's just they're gonna be out of gas by the end of the period if they can't start winning faceoffs.
Yeah, they were pretty much beaten handily, especially last week in the faceoff dot. Last night was a little bit better, but it's not been one of those points of emphasis yet so far this season in which the Bengals finding possession off the faceoff. They do manage to get possession after a little bit of time in the defensive zone. Miller's dumping goes off a Niagara stick, but he finds possession just inside the blue line and then gets help from Elliott Hunt.
Wow.
Hunt, though, taking a big hit from Brady Knopf, and that allows Wojciechowski to pick it up in the far corner. Back to Brady Knopf here on the near side, and then up the far side to Kroll. He's got Miller on him. Bengals putting some pressure on there on the far side, but Niagara still maintaining possession, showing good patience, and finally getting that one up ice. Just a step offline with that pass up to Riddle, but here he is in the offensive zone. Almost got that one out in front to Kroll, who was coming in late.
The passing is atrocious right now. I mean, nothing is near anybody. The Bengals got to clean that up, or it's going to be real ugly because they're already. NU's got the bigger bench. You just can't keep giving them possessions and just trade and just playing flip out and retreat.
Puck comes through the neutral zone. Cole Newman finding it and sending it back into Niagara territory. That pass is beyond its intended target. This one's going to be an icing against Niagara. So Buff State gets a little bit of a break here and gets to enjoy an offensive zone draw. We see whether or not they can improve their percentage at the faceoff dot, as this would be an opportunity to set up in the offensive zone, but only if they can get possession right off the draw.
Yeah, they need it too, and they're going to send the Buffalo Explorers high school teammates out there with Crapsey and Hager. They do have Hahn and Newman on the back end. Just anything to get an offensive jump here. There's one way. Get a shot.
Yeah, cleanly won faceoff there by Crapsey. Won it on the backhand, right back to Cole Newman. Shot in on goal. Not much of a screen that was there, but enough of an opportunity to get a shot in on goal. Unfortunately, from the Buff State perspective, good save by LaSalle to play it out of play and up into the protective netting, allowing his team to make a change.
Yep, I think I'd want Mendick closer to the net here. He's the thicker body. He's the one you'd want going to the net there, I would imagine. But again, Crapsey winning faceoffs and possessing the puck right now.
Crapsey gets knocked down in the corner there by Train.
Sure did.
Looking for a little bit of puck support, but not really finding much, as Thomason doesn't have a whole lot of difficulty carrying it out of his zone. Now in across the Buff State blue line, but he loses it there to Mendick as he comes forward 1-on-4.
Man.
Gets drilled by Train there in the far corner as the big defenseman throwing the body around.
Yep.
Blake Train, one of the new faces in the Niagara lineup this year, already making his presence felt physically out there in this game.
And that dude has earned his last name already, man. I mean, 2 huge hits in one shift. I mean, You want to try and stop players from trying to skate through the defense? That's how you do it. Make them pay for it. And he's done it twice in this shift.
Now he makes a pass up ice where he finds Moore just inside the Niagara offensive zone. Drop pass to DiMatteo. His backhander goes high and wide up over the net. Looked like it might have just been a little bit off in terms of the aim on that one. Maybe just a little bit too much elevation. Now Buff State again just sloppily playing it forward.
Okay with that right now too, like that.
It's way too early in the game to be okay with icings, as that was the hard off the glass and down the ice, and just able to accept the stoppage in play and another defensive zone faceoff. And yet again, we get a forward group that is stuck out there in the ice with an extended shift.
Yep, and if you're trying to play damage control halfway through the first period, you're in trouble. So I mean, the Bengals really have to. They have to just get better at hitting those breakout passes. That's like any team that can't break out of their own end doesn't really stand much of a chance. And right now the Bengals are just not giving themselves chances. As well as Niagara's been playing, a lot of the errors are unforced right now.
That's the type of clear that this team needs if you're going to get it out of the
They
zone.
gotta change that.
Is make sure you get it softly enough that it's not going to go for icing. A little bit slow with the change, though. Good point there, Sean. Now they're back in their own zone, playing defense here again. It comes up to Stoats here on the near boards. Just a one-hand attempt, doesn't get it out of the zone. There is
second one-hand attempt, and a third.
Niagara keeps it here in the zone, but it comes out to Mitch Thornton. Now he has a chance to skate it up the left wing. Stoats makes sure it gets all the way into the offensive zone. Now Sardina watching the goaltender Lascelles as he comes out to play it. Drops it back to Cook. Now Cook up to Bratton here on the near wall. Bratton has to avoid the official, just cuts in towards the middle of the ice and now has plenty of room to skate it through the center ice area.
Good stick.
Good poke check there by Sardina as he retreated back towards his blue line. But Cristaldi finding the loose puck for the Purple Eagles. Tries to get it deep in the Buff State zone, but it is intercepted there. And now Stoats through the neutral zone. Stoats across the blue line on his backhand. Gets that shot in on goal. Pad save made there by Lascelles. As it was Stoats creating something there on his own. A nice little quick move to the forehand to get that shot in on goal.
Save.
That was a good save through a screen that was coming in front of Lascelles there as he caught it with the catching glove. Holds on for a whistle now with 9:05 to go here in regulation. In the first period. Faceoff will be to the right of Lascelles.
That was a very good, simple play right there that the Bengals needed. Just a turnaround slap shot on net, and it got redirected. Really great save there by the goaltender. But the Bengals need to keep stuff like this up right now.
Yeah, Bengals winning another offensive zone faceoff and getting a shot right away off of it as it was Ryan Miller letting that wrist shot go. Miller then tries to kick a pass out to Lotempio, but it's Ethan Knopf getting it up to Riddle. Riddle now making a move to get just barely around the Buff State defenseman, but good secondary coverage there from the Buff State defenders. Now Miller here on the far side losing his balance, but he still gets it out into center ice.
That could have been a lot worse right there. That's a good play considering.
Good play in a tight area there by Joe Lotempio to make sure it gets up ice, but now Riddle has it for Niagara. Pass across ice to Ethan Knopf. Cuts towards the slot. Danae throwing the shoulder in him as he tried to sidestep him right in front of the face-off dot there on the far side. Good defense from number 91.
Where's the trailer?
Drop pass to nobody but a Purple Eagle player. Fortunately, though, late in Kroll's shift, and he just dumps it into the offensive zone. That gives the Bengals a chance to pick it up and move it up ice on the far side. Jankowski with a cross-ice pass. Cole Newman with a step. Able to dump it right in on goal. Lascelles catching it and then playing it to his defenseman. Now Niagara has a little bit of room here on the near side. DiMatteo then up ice, but that one's too far for its intended target. That one's going to go for icing as Ryan Hahn wins the foot race there between the two number 22s. Just barely beating out his opponent and winning that foot race to get the icing call. Face-off now will come back all the way into the Niagara territory, and it will be to the left of the netminder Lascelles.
Yep, and I think Franklin might think twice before he puts his stick under Hahn's arm because Hahn felt that and just took him for a ride right on the boards. It wasn't a huge hit, but I think Hahn got the message across that it could be a lot harder if that happens a second time.
7:50 now remaining in first period play. Niagara finding possession deep in their own zone. DiMatteo at the pass here up the near wing. Another pass connects to Cross in the neutral zone, and he floats it high in the air. A.J. White with a good track on that one. Catches it with the left hand, holding on for a whistle now in the Buff State territory. Niagara making some changes to their forward group as we get a face-off coming up to the blocker hand side of A.J. White.
Yeah, but A.J. White, I think it's fair to say A.J. White has been the best player on the ice for both teams. Granted, it's a little more than halfway through this period. But again, he's, when the Bengals aren't, helping him out a whole lot, getting pinned in there, he has made the saves. Having said that, we know you don't want to put this much on your goaltender, especially this early. The Bengals need to start getting some pressure on the other end like they did the first shift of the game.
Mitch Thornton with a headman pass looking for Jankowski. Kind of bounces off of his stick, but does end up in the offensive zone. But it's going to be the Purple Eagles getting possession. That pass is intercepted, though. Stoats with a chance to let a shot go. Just couldn't quite maintain possession to get it in on goal. As now it comes back towards the far point. Mitch Thornton has to go back into the neutral zone to pick it up. Sends it right back towards the Niagara blue line, where Sardina finds possession. Good converging defense, though, from the Purple Eagles, not making sure that 53 didn't have a whole lot of room to maneuver out there in the neutral zone. And now comes back into Buff State territory as a couple of hits laid against the near glass. The official on the far side blowing the play dead as we have an offsides call, I believe, at the Buff State blue line.
It's tough when the official does it because you can't tell if he's calling a penalty or offsides.
I didn't want to jump in too soon and say one way or the other because I wasn't sure. I was 50-50 either way. Glad I didn't speak too soon because my first instinct was a penalty.
Yeah, that was mine too, but I didn't see the door open, and so, yeah. But that's what happened, though. This crew, they have 3, so they're undermanned, so you need to have everybody do more stuff.
An undermanned team, what's that like? 6:40 to go here in first period play as Buff State finding possession in the corner. Ends up going off the skate of the defenseman Case Cook here in the neutral zone. Now he battles with Lotempio and Miller for possession. Miller coming out with it. Takes a hit, though, from P.J. Abbott. Loses control of his stick in the process.
That was an inch away from being a glorious hip check.
Ends up being fairly effective, though, in knocking the stick out of Miller's hands. He had to go back to the bench to find it.
Probably the better play, no penalty.
Comes out to Riddle here as he carries it into the offensive zone. Number 6, Matt Riddle for Niagara, having a good start to this season.
Massive hold, sir. It's 3 feet away from you.
Big hit there from Miller, and then a bit of a hold there. It ends up creating an opportunity in front, but it rolls off the stick of Ethan Knopf in the slot. Kroll, though, with possession here in the high slot back towards the blue line. Cross-ice pass, an inch too far for Cook here in the near side, but he finds it in the corner. Gets knocked down on the play, but gets it back to the point. As 2 players still down here on the play.
Okay,
Cook is slow getting back to his feet as it was him and Newman that were tangled up, and Newman was quick to get there and to find out whether or not his opponent was okay in that situation.
Yeah, and he got away with one there for sure.
Cook is a little bit hobbled getting there to the bench.
He gave him a good whack. I mean, I wouldn't call. If he didn't fall down, I don't think anybody would say anything about this. But Newman gave him a stiff jolt. As soon as he went down, he knew right away and went over to make sure Cook was all right. He's up. It looks like Newman just whacked him really hard on the ankle and he went down. I mean, that hurts real bad. But he's favoring himself a little bit too, though.
Yeah, there was some question about whether Cook would play in their last game, the last game that we broadcast against Georgia last week. He did play. It was very effective. Maybe that might be whatever injury has been ailing him being re-aggravated on that exchange right there. As we are under 5.5 to go in first period play, Nick Crapsey skating it up the left wing. Has to make a second effort to make sure it gets into the neutral zone. Now Pranetta and Bratton battling for that loose puck. Eventually it is fed through the neutral zone and back into Niagara territory. Not moving all that quickly, but ruled to be quick enough for icing, so it will come all the way back down into Buffalo State territory with 5:14 to go in the period.
Yeah, I don't think speed is a prerequisite for icing with this officiating crew today. They're calling it if it's even close. It's going to be blown down the other end of the ice. We got the Buffalo Explorers line out there. They've done some good things today in this game, so interesting to see how much more effective they can be. Maybe try to get one on the board.
Niagara, though, finding possession of it here. Now more back to the point where Brady Knopf picks it up. Tries to get a shot through traffic. It hit a body lightly in front of the net and went just wide of A.J. White. Now along the far goal line as a pass out in front. That one was intended for Moore, but just missed its intended target. Now sent right back into the Buff State territory as Niagara's done a little bit better of a job here in the recent moments of establishing some zone time. There's a shot from Moore, let go by the right by the faceoff dot. I think A.J. White got just a bit of that one, but it was certainly looking for that top corner on the near side, as Moore has shown already this season that he's one of the more dangerous players in the lineup for Niagara. 4 goals already, one of the new faces in the lineup for the Purple Eagles.
Yeah, as if this team needed any more offensive firepower, they had a guy like Moore who's just lethal, and he's lethal from the back end as well. So now you get another scorer, but you get it from another spot on the ice. That's just an embarrassment of riches at this point.
Neutral zone faceoff after the offsides call. Sent quickly back into Niagara territory. No icing, though, as DiMatteo goes back for it. 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go here in the first period. As it comes up to Moore here on the left wing. His pass too far for its intended target at center ice, and now Ryan Hahn picks it up. He sends it back through the neutral zone, just handing possession back to the Purple Eagles. And now Train has it in his own zone. Train looking up ice, connects on a pass to Scanlon. Scanlon gives himself a little bit of room by slowing down, then just dumps it into the Bengals zone. Now Ryan Hahn picks it up there, ends up throwing a shoulder into the Niagara player as the two of them were trying to establish physical control of the puck there. Eventually it comes out to Ryan Hahn and then quickly up ice. 2 passes connected on in a row there for Buff State. And Stoats into the offensive zone to the backhand, tries to feed a pass in front. Nobody there, though, as Sardina was a little bit further towards the high slot. Good play there on the far point as Ryan Hahn keeping it in at the left point. Again, he leaves his feet to make sure he grabs a hold of it with the glove. This time he has to retreat to center ice. And now up to Ryan Miller just inside the blue line. Good stick there by Train as he is, that's 3 or 4 times he has laid a good hit, effective hit here in this first period. Certainly a player that Buff State and the Bengals are going to have to keep an eye on when they are in a position where they might be taking a hit.
Because you are, if he's on the ice. If you think you're going to take a hit, you're taking a hit with this guy.
We have a little bit of a delayed whistle here. I believe we have it might be a too many men on the ice penalty, or it might be a late offsides or a late icing call. Yeah, it's a late icing call.
You can say late, yeah, definitely.
I thought it had been waved off.
We got to charge a fee for how late this is.
Yeah, Niagara had already picked the puck up behind their own net, circled around behind the net, made a pass up the right wing, and then the linesman blew it dead for icing. So maybe a little bit of miscommunication out there for the 3 in stripes. As we have 3:08 to go here in the first period. Faceoff coming up to the right of A.J. White. Bengals finding control but unable to clear the zone. Second attempt does get out as Elliott Hunt made sure it got out to center ice. But it's going to be Niagara and Riddle getting it into the offensive zone. Shot pass off the pads and a rebound opportunity. Move to the backhand for Riddle and he tucks it home. 1-0 Niagara as the Purple Eagles take advantage of an opportunity in the Buff State zone. And a quickly developing play, Ethan Knopf to Riddle in front. And Riddle gets his 5th goal of the season to give the Purple Eagles the early lead.
Yeah, and Jeff Shevchuk is really upset about something. They're arguing something, but either way, just sloppy defense by the Bengals. Riddle was just able to pick up the puck in the slot one-on-one with A.J. White, who was already down in his butterfly for making the initial save. Just easy, just slips it to his backhand, outweights A.J. White, and slides into the open net. And it felt inevitable at this point that NU was going to get one of those. Buff State's got to respond right now.
I got to think that the conversation from the bench had to do with that late icing call in the moments that led to that faceoff. Now the Bengals will be getting a power play here as Elliott Hunt got dumped there in the offensive zone, and then a late clear then by Niagara after the whistle.
It's the guy. PJ knows he's taking the penalty because as soon as he slapped the puck down the ice, he started arguing. So. But, I mean...
He can make an argument for giving him an extra 2 for that one, but...
he form tackled Elliott Hunt. I don't know what he's arguing. And then he tried to blow the puck off the side of his head. Buddy, you're lucky you didn't get 5 for that. You can't just fire a puck blind after a whistle. And honestly, he's lucky no one punched him.
2:36 left in the first period, so a good bit of the rest of period number 1. The Bengals are going to get to enjoy a power play here. Stotts on for the draw for the Bengals, winning possession of it for his team, and now it's going to be Sardina here on the near hash mark. Sardina surveying things, getting it back to Ryan Hahn. Hahn shot through traffic as there were 2 players in front of the net. Looked like it hit a foot and then went wide. Bengals connecting on a pass as now Stotts tries to get that shot away. Looked like it hit a body in front. Nobody really knew where it was for a moment. Bengals maintaining the blue line there. Elliott Hunt drop pass there to Sardina. Sardina now setting it up at the right wing. Pass to Hunt in the skates, and now Niagara is going to get a chance to clear it as the penalty clock has yet to start here. So a minute 57 to go in the period, and it should be somewhere around 30-ish seconds remaining in the period when the penalty's released. Sardina into the offensive zone here on the right side, stops against the boards and then feeds it down low. Elliott Hunt grabbing it on the far side, gets interfered with a little bit by the official, and that gives Niagara a chance to clear it, but they can't get it past Ryan Hahn. Fires it in behind the net on the backhand, but Brady Knopf the first one to it there. Tries to clear it up the near side, but Sardina picks it off, walks in, lets a shot go, but a good block there is Brady Knopf making amends for being unable to get it out. Sends that one the length of the ice, killing a little bit more time in the penalty, probably about 50 seconds remaining in the penalty by my estimation here.
Absolutely. In Buffalo State, they're getting the zone time. They're getting shots. There's the... Nope. Be aware.
That was an almost very nice setup there in the neutral zone as the one-touch pass from Elliott Hunt to Ryan Miller. But great defensive play by DiMatteo stepping up and reading that nicely and getting the poke check in there, keeping Buffalo State from advancing in across the blue line. Ends up resulting in an offsides on the play. So about, I'd say 40 seconds remaining in the Buff State power play as they make a couple changes here and get some new personnel out there on the ice.
Yep, and that was, a clean reception of a pass away from hitting the line with a lot of speed. So Bengals, again, they're not afraid to stretch it. It's what they've been successful with. They got to get back to that, though. It works, and they had Niagara's defensemen on their heels for a second there.
Niagara winning possession and sending it the length of the ice, killing off more time in this penalty. Cole Newman skates it up and dumps it into the offensive zone. Crapsey catching it there on the far side. Takes a bump from Train, now having difficulty finding possession. Back to the point. Thornton having some battle there along the blue line. Could result in a 2-on-1 for the Purple Eagles. Scanlon just takes the shot. handcuffs the netminder and gets past him for another shorthanded goal against for the Bengals. It's 2-0 Niagara as they get the shorty with 40 seconds to go.
Going back to last year, Aaron, we always said those late goals at the end of periods are backbreakers. Well, when that goal becomes a shorthanded goal, that's tough. I mean, the Bengals, it's a 2-on-1 with the back check. It's a good shot. I think it's one A.J. White probably wants back. But yeah, the Bengals, they got a hill to climb now as Niagara has every ounce of momentum going their way right now, and the Bengals have a shortened bench. So they did not make anything easier on themselves with this power play.
It's funny, we talked about last year how the Buff State was the team that was as dangerous when killing penalties as they were when they had a power play because they scored a bunch of shorthanded goals early in the season last year. It's the complete opposite script so far this year. 5 shorthanded goals against now in 6 games for Buffalo State. 2 last night late in the first period. Now this one late in the period is another one going against them. Seems as there was a penalty doled out there in the aftermath, though.
Might have been a taunt.
Yeah, I think we might have a 10-minute misconduct as there is a Niagara player in the penalty box, but there's no time up on the board, and there are 5 Purple Eagles out there on the ice here as we continue with play here in the first period. 22 seconds. Bengals with an opportunity on the doorstep. Elliott Hunt can't find the net, though, as he had a lot of net to shoot it at. Bengals keep it in here. Nice play by Miller. Down low to Elliott Hunt as it goes just through his skates. He finds it again there in the near corner. Pass out in front, doesn't connect.
Gotta get that
Comes
puck, boys.
all the way back down into Buff State territory, and that's how period number 1 is going to come to an end. It's going to be Niagara with a 2-0 lead after 20 minutes of play, and it's a shorthanded goal late in the period that allows them to add to their lead. That was already 1-0 from earlier on. They spent a decent amount of time in the offensive zone as well. A good period from a Niagara perspective. Unfortunately, more of the same from the Buff State perspective.
Yeah, pretty much to a T the way it's been for the past week and change. Just a defensive lapse, a little bit of, not reacting to a bad whistle perhaps, but whatever the case may be, not strong in the defensive end, passing not crisp, and they paid the price for it. They're playing a strong team. You have to play well to beat Niagara. If you do the work for them, you don't stand a chance.
2-0 Niagara after 20 minutes of play. Taking a quick look at one other game in the UNY-CHL today. It was Binghamton and Cortland facing off in a Central Division battle, and that one went to overtime with Cortland again getting the upset victory 6-5 in overtime over Binghamton. So Cortland with an early statement victory against Binghamton as the national runners-up fall for the first time this year. Saw them last night against Buffalo State. They're now 2-1 on the season. Cortland with an impressive early season win. Meanwhile, our score here, 2-0 Niagara after 20 minutes of play. And support for Buffalo State College Club Hockey comes from Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. To buy, sell, or lease any office, industrial, retail, or investment property, trust the unparalleled knowledge and experience of Militello Realty. 856-2872 or militello.com. Supporters also include Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Leaf can cover your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID-19 vaccine. Also CBD products, home health care, and all of your other pharmacy needs. Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, 2446 Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore, or ivyleafpharmacy.com. Supporters also include Pool Mart, your family fun store. Whether you're looking for a pool, hot tub, patio furniture, supplies, or more, Pool Mart has 5 locations across western New York and northern Pennsylvania to meet your specific need. Also, you can find them online at poolmartonline.com. This broadcast also brought to you by 412 Communications, the new gold standard for digital media solutions for small businesses. 412 Communications offers consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit 412communications.com to learn how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. Our supporters also include Colvin Cleaners, dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners, the region's premier green earth dry cleaner, and where the Buffalo State Club hockey team goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. Colvin Cleaners located on Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. And support comes from Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of the Buffalo State Club hockey team. Find them online, enviousgameware.com. You're watching Buffalo State College Club hockey on the Nickel City Hockey Network. We're going to step away here for the second intermission, but rejoin you in about 10 minutes. Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. And welcome back to the Buffalo State Ice Arena as we are set for second period play. It is the Buffalo State Bengals hosting the Niagara University Purple Eagles in a UNY CHL Metro Division matchup. And after 20 minutes of play, it is Niagara with a 2-0 lead. Good evening, I'm Aaron Elpern alongside Sean McHugh as we bring you the call of tonight's game on the Nickel City Hockey Network. And about the start that Niagara would want in this game, maybe the first shift or two wasn't perfectly to their liking, but they settled down and took control of the game, went to the locker room with a 2-0 lead for their efforts.
Yep, Niagara played a very, very strong first period, got the goaltending, great defense, physical play, finished on their scoring chances, and capitalized on the mistakes Buffalo State made late in the period. If you're the Bengals, we now have to know. We have at a point where it's been almost 2 weeks the way they've been playing. We now have to wonder, are they cold, or is this the team we're dealing with? Like, they have to figure something out right now because they were badly outplayed in that period.
Loose puck along the blue line. Niagara winning a battle for that puck, and now it's Chad Moore skating it up ice. He's got a man in front. Nice play, though, as it was Ryan Hahn getting the stick in that passing lane, keeping that 2-on-1 play from getting set up properly. Hahn with possession of it now and gets it quickly up ice. Thornton's dump-in attempt doesn't get past the blue line, and he's got to make sure it gets in on the second effort, though. And now DiMatteo finding possession, getting it up ice to Thomason. Back to DiMatteo, and he's got some room through the middle of the ice. Gains the blue line, shot in just wide of the net as it hits the back glass. Comes out to Moore, and then his shot attempt doesn't get through, and now it's Miller through the neutral zone. Miller across the blue line, shot through traffic, goes high and wide. Miller finds the rebound out in front to Elliott Hunt. Great save by LaSalle as he kicks the right pad out. And Miller is down in the corner, and he seems to be in a lot of discomfort in the midsection as Ethan Knopf's shot comes in on goal. Knocked out of the air by Riddle as Miller still down here in the far corner in the Niagara zone, and he is in a lot of pain right now. He is very slow to get up, and you can tell by his reaction that he is in more than just a little bit of discomfort.
Yeah, he went into those boards hard, and he's holding his he's holding a really, really rough spot to be hurting right now, so tough to see what exactly happened, but he's on his back right now, and he hasn't moved, so hope for the best.
Miller not in the lineup last night as he's been nursing an injury. My first instinct is that it's that injury again being re-aggravated.
It's that hip injury he had. Didn't he have that last year too?
Yeah, somewhere in that midsection. I don't know the exact details of it, but trying to rest it last night to make sure he was ready for the division game here tonight. And obviously something happened there on that play that it's gotten worse, and he's still on his back in a lot of pain, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a re-aggravation, that's tough. I mean, and Ryan Miller's a tough player, and the thing with him, when he plays, you're going to get 150,000. Oh, they're going to. Oh, it's just. Yeah, that's not good.
That's groin is what my first instinct would be on that one. I don't want to try to make a diagnosis from 150 feet away, but that doesn't look good. Obviously, hope that he can recover from that as quickly as possible. Clearly, though, in a lot of pain.
Yeah, if they're getting him to the locker room now, so hope for the best, and hopefully maybe we can see him on the ice again soon. Tough to see one of the important players on this team going down and not being able to put any weight on his leg.
All right, so a little bit more than a minute here into the second period, 18:57 to go in the second, and the faceoff's going to come in the neutral zone in front of the Niagara bench, as it's still the 2-0 lead in favor of the Purple Eagles. Bengals win the draw. Cole Newman's pass doesn't get through. Now Danae's going to have to do some work to get it up ice. That pass is knocked back into the Buff State zone. Now Danae has to go back into the corner to start it. Gets it to Cole Newman. That one off the glass, but the Bengals unable to get it out of the zone. Newman's second attempt does finally get into center ice, and now Stotz has a bit of a step on the defenseman. Just inside the blue line, losing control, though, was just taken off of his stick by Ethan Knopf, and now Riddle into the offensive zone for the Purple Eagles. Knopf finding possession after a poke check, drives out in front of the net, backhand shot, then a rebound, came right back to his forehand, had two chances there, but A.J. White standing up and making two solid stops there.
That play should never be that easy for anybody.
The second opportunity shouldn't have been there, and the first opportunity shouldn't have been as clear of a lane to the front of the net.
Nope. To achieve.
Sardina not given any lane there on that play as Knopf lays a shoulder into him on a really well-executed check from my perspective.
Unless there was something else. I mean, that looked like just great defense to me, Aaron. I mean,
I would not have called a penalty on that play, but the official had the arm up right away, signaling the call. Wait to see exactly what the call is here on it. Yeah, it's a roughing penalty. Knopf didn't think that there was a call. He was confused by it. You see some palms upturned on the Niagara bench. Confusion about the call there. Not a whole lot of argument going on, though, and that kind of tells you about how much control they've been in this game, that a borderline at best penalty is called against them, and they don't even bother to argue it because they are in such command right now.
That's the thing, too. You know you're feeling good about yourself when you have a very legitimate gripe, and you're just like, whatever, get our penalty kill some work, I guess. I mean,
they've already scored a shorthanded goal.
It's accounted for 50% of their offense tonight, so.
And they quickly win a draw and kill off some time in the early part of this penalty, getting that sent the length of the ice. Ryan Hahn picks it up there.
Oh, boy.
That pass unable to be accepted. Ryan Hahn having to do a little bit of secondary work to get it up ice. Gains the blue line, now looking to set things up for the Bengals power play. Hahn circles the net, looking for a pass back to the point. Slides it back to Thornton. Quickly in on goal. That one's redirected, but it goes high and wide and ends up going out of play as Joe Lotempio getting the stick on that one. So now we see where the faceoff's going to come after that was redirected out of play, and it's still going to stay in the offensive zone for Buff State. A minute 36 to go in the power play.
This is a huge power play for the Bengals, too. I mean, you were given a gift, and you have a chance to get back into this game.
And your opponents might be a little bit sleepy right now. If you're going to run into an overconfident group, it might be that Niagara group right now. But they have reason to be confident.
Yep, because they've been the better team in every facet of the game tonight.
No problem killing off the first 30 seconds, and they get the only opportunity so far in the power play as it's Bratton's hard work that creates a chance in front of the net.
Yeah, so any chance of that happening was answered right there. Yep, nope.
That should be an intentional offsides. Bengals get a little bit of a break there that they don't have to deal with the faceoff back in their zone. We'll be just in the neutral zone here along the blue line just outside of the Niagara zone. But not a whole lot going on here with this power play. Minute 16 to go in it so far. The only chance that's been created was for Marcus Bratton and the Niagara Purple Eagles.
Yep, and the Bengals, again, this is an opportunity. They need to take advantage of it. And so far, like you said, the only scoring chance was against them after already allowing a shorthanded goal. So, I mean, that's a difference in the game you don't want to deal with.
Puck kept in at the near point, but then mishandled by Mitch Thornton. That gives Scanlon a lane up the right wing. Shot from distance. Arm save made by A.J. White, but the rebound comes out to Briggs. Nobody near him as Briggs can just circle and decide what he wants to do in the offensive zone, despite the fact that his team is shorthanded. Bengals finally finding possession of it there behind the net as Thornton moves it up to Ryan Hahn. Hahn stopping just inside of his own blue line to allow the Niagara player to get out of the way, and now it's going to be Thornton carrying it in up the right wing. Cuts towards the slot, tries to take a shot, but that one's blocked back over towards the left side. And now Sardina setting it up for Stotz on the far end. His shot in on goal, stick save made by LaSalle. Not a whole lot of difficulty in handling that one. And the rebound is picked up by a Niagara player and Train sends it the length of the ice. Just 20 seconds now left in the Buff State penalty, or power play rather.
We got defensemen gliding into the zone as their power play is getting killed in the corner of their own end of the ice.
1-on-2 battle for a loose puck is won by the Niagara player. Eventually Buff State finds possession, but only 5 seconds left in the power play. Sardina carrying it up here right towards the slot, tries to step around P.J. Abbott, but good defense there. As we have a whistle being blown here, a hand pass being signaled, as that ruins an opportunity in front of the net for Buff State. It looked like there was going to be a chance in tight.
You can't hand pass the puck to yourself, so I don't understand that. But
it was the linesman in the neutral zone that blew the play dead. I'm going to take a glance here at the at our monitor and get an idea of what the idea that was called there.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it was a hand pass there by Jankowski playing it forward.
Good call by the linesman right there. Okay.
So 15:53 left to go in the second period. It's a 2-0 Niagara lead. Face off here in the neutral zone along the Niagara blue line. Played forward. Abbott picking it up for the Purple Eagles, getting it up to Riddle. Riddle takes a little bit of a bump, but he gets it to Knopf. Knopf's pass just a little bit too far for Kroll, but he finds it here in the near corner. Kroll spins away from one Bengal, gets away from a second one. Now back to the point to P.J. Abbott. Gives it back to Kroll along the goal line, just unable to handle that one cleanly. Eventually picks it up behind the net and tries to get a pass out in front. Maybe a little bit of a miscommunication with Cook, who is retreating back to his point position. Caden Mendick forward for the Bengals. His shot coming through a little bit of a screen, but not too much difficulty there for the netminder LaSalle to make that save. Niagara then finds possession and quickly gets it up ice. Riddle up the right wing, cuts towards the slot, can't get the shot away as he took a little bit of a bump from two different Bengal players there.
Good thing he
just
did.
Enough that to knock him off of that one, as it was inches away from getting that shot off. Crapsey now with a chance to get it up ice. Mendick, though, unable to get his feet moving to catch that pass. He does get the feet moving to negate the icing, and now battling for a loose puck here in the offensive zone. Knocks the stick out of his opponent's hands, but Cook recovers that stick and gets it up into the neutral zone, where it is found by Cole Newman, who just tries to send it in on goal. Ooh, that was a little bit of a funky-looking play there, as it was P.J. Abbott trying to glove it down. He almost gloved it right behind his goaltender. LaSalle, though, finding control of it and then throwing the catching glove over top of it to stop play here now with 14:35 to go in period number 2. Still that 2-0 lead in favor of the Purple Eagles.
Yep, and those are the crazy, fluky little plays that can maybe spark a team to get them back in it. One thing I like that the Bengals are doing in this period, they're firing the puck on net. They're trying to get that bounce. They're trying to get that rebound. Just break that zero and just get that off your back, and everything will open up for them.
Niagara looking to connect on a stretch pass right off that one face-off. A little bit too far out of the reach of Moore, but no icing on the play as Moore has possession along the goal line now. Moore circles, and now back to the point to Knopf, and then we have a collision in front of the net. The net coming off, and now we have two different Bengal players there converging on the Niagara player in quick succession, not putting up with that at all, as A.J. White is still down on this play. Buff State is not going to put up with that.
He dropped his glove and threw a punch. He's got to be out of this game right there. He dropped his glove and threw a punch if he's not out of this game.
Yeah, Thomason there with one glove up, and then
he steps on it. Come on. That's a joke.
That is about as dirty a play as you'll see here in club hockey, and there's absolutely no reason for it at all.
Just get out.
Letting the emotions get the best of him in a game where his team's winning 2-0. As he drops the glove and looks to fire punches here, he does throw a punch at Joe Lotempio there in the aftermath. Officials right on the scene.
Right on it. Good job. And
now he's continuing to argue it here as he's escorted off the ice. And the Buff State goaltender is still down on the play.
He's their only goaltender too. He's the only goaltender on the roster. I don't understand how there's an argument. Like, their goaltender got knocked over. That is hockey 101. If the Bengals don't do what they did right there, it's a joke. Look what happened to the Sabres when they let that happen to Ryan Miller. Like, getting tossed out of the game's got to be where this starts. I mean, we got to be talking about a suspension right here.
Well, these games are broadcast, and I know the league commissioner often watches these broadcasts, so I'm going to have to think that the Niagara player guilty of that infraction there, number 29, Jake Thomason, might be hearing from Commissioner Marchese this week.
Yep, I would think.
So now the referee's trying to figure out what they're going to call on that play in terms of penalties, as the Buff State goaltending coach, Pat Krebs, is attending to his netminder, A.J. White. Now, this is one of those situations where you would kind of hope that a level of sportsmanship is shown when you have a team that only has one goaltender. Do you really want to be trying to take a run at that goaltender to get him out of the game in a game that you have pretty ample control of?
I can't answer that. I'm not on the coaching staff, and I don't think anybody cares what I would do in this circumstance, but I wouldn't run any goaltender. But yes, to your point, yep, A.J. White's still down. He hasn't moved.
Referee's having a conversation as the trainer is now out there attending to A.J. White. He's gotten up to one knee and seems to be trying to get himself all sorted here, still in the Buff State zone, as the trainer now out there attending to him along with Elliot Hunt on this play. Captain Lotempio coming over to assist as well as the referee conversation still continues. Keep an eye on what calls are made here with that melee by the Buff State net. As we mentioned, there's no doubt in our minds that if you have only one goaltender on the roster and you see him get hit, the response should be swift, and it's not a surprise that the Buff State players reacted in the way they did.
It's good to see it, to be honest with you. I mean, and I'm not saying I don't want to see anybody get beat up or anything, but this team, you've also been getting beat pretty good tonight, so you can't, what you're going to do about it on the scoreboard is something completely different, but on top of that, if you're going to see your goaltender get run and then a player go to skate away, that's what you have to do, and then he drops his glove and throws a punch and does the work for you. So
looks like Ryan Hahn is being shown the exit here for his
fair.
part in that melee.
Okay, fair. I can get behind that if he threw a punch.
I mean, he was there, definitely involved with the Niagara player.
That's what, and that we say the dumb penalties and the undiscipline is not why he deserves a ladder, but standing up for his goaltender after he gets injured, that is why Ryan Hahn has a ladder. It's going to be a big loss without him, but at this point, I don't want to sound like I'm condoning it, but again, your goaltender got run and is hurt on the play. You got to do something about it.
There had been a fair amount of respect between these two programs last year. Kind of have a feeling that might have evaporated here tonight. As we have 14:36 to go in period number 2. It's a 2-0 Niagara lead. But the most important factor dealing with here is that A.J. White is still in quite a bit of discomfort, getting back to his skates now and having a conversation with the trainer here in the Buff State zone. The net is still turned around backwards against the back glass there in the Bengals zone as White and the trainer continue their conversation. And Buffalo State College Club hockey sponsors include Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years, by Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. Sponsors also include Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your family fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of Buffalo State Club hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners, who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. Not sure A.J. White's going to be able to continue here as he is skating back towards the Buff State bench.
He's putting his helmet on, but he also is.
I don't know what the what sort of conversation we're going to have here.
Staying on the ice. He hasn't come to the. He's not off the ice.
The officially listed backup goaltender on the Buff State roster is Joe Lotempio, the captain. And the scenario, if something along these lines happened this year, was that he was the emergency goaltender if need be. I don't know if that is the case here, as A.J. White is just kind of involved in a conversation there with the rest of his team that is gathered around the Buff State bench. There's still conversation going on in the penalty box right now as one of the referees is in there explaining things to the scorekeeper as we continue to wait for play to get restarted here from the Buffalo State Ice Arena. 14:36 to go in the second period as maybe getting a Buff State power play out of this as we see the faceoff maybe is moving down to the Niagara zone. At least the players are setting up there looking to get ready. That's about the only thing we maybe know about what's going to be coming up once we get started up again here from Buff State.
Yeah, I mean, definitely appears there's at least a 5-on-4. There's someone going we have a Purple Eagle about to go into the box, and Chad Moore discussing what's going on with the officials.
Scanlon there standing by the penalty box door. Not sure if he's going to be serving a penalty or if he was involved in that. He now skates away from the penalty box, so not sure what the totality of the calls will be, but we do have a little bit of information coming through now on the scoreboard. We see 29 and 5 minutes up there, so that is Thomason's major penalty for him throwing a punch, or throwing multiple punches in that melee there up against the back glass in the Buff State zone. A.J. White back in the Buff State cage, going through his paces here to make sure everything is in order and he can perform as he normally does in net, as the Niagara team is now getting an explanation from the two referees about what the penalty calls are. As the referees now skating back towards the Niagara zone, as we maybe now have an opportunity to get play started. And the captain, Zach Briggs, now having a conversation with the referee, as just a lot of conversation here today so far. And no real certainty. 2 different 5s up on the board for Thomason.
This is also the door opening for Buff State to get back into this game and right a lot of wrongs. I mean, a team that's very, very sound, that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, has made 2 of them in this period. You really need to capitalize and at least cut this lead in half, and oh my Lord, you cannot allow a shorthanded goal here.
Also maybe given you a reason to be angry. If you wanted a reason to get motivated, if you're having a little bit of difficulty finding that edge in your game,
there it is.
See your goaltender get run? How's that do it for you?
You would think it would fire you up, and you'd want to make the team who ran your goaltender pay dearly for it. So let's see if that's the mentality here.
All right, a 5-minute power play, 5-on-3 for 5 minutes for the Bengals.
I mean,
as they get set up here on the perimeter, Cole Newman walking in. His shot misses the net wide, but it comes back to the point to Sardina here at the left point. Sardina slows it down and gets himself away from Briggs, then takes a slap shot. Got all the way through. There was a little bit of a screen in front, but LaSalle making the stop. And the first 25 seconds of this double major penalty against Niagara has been killed off.
Shoot. He's been sitting. He's been idle. Shoot.
Hasn't had to face a whole lot of rubber here in this game either, so certainly an opportunity to test him with this 5-minute power play, 5-minute 5-on-3. Stoats to Hunt on the far side, back up top, and now it's Cole Newman. Lets that shot go off the post. And then DiMattio's clearing attempt doesn't get out. Sardina picks it up through the skates. Shot taken, then it goes off a body and into the back of the net. The Bengals are on the board. They have a power play goal and a lot of time left to enjoy on the power play, as it's now a 2-1 game and a little bit of life maybe for the Buff State Bengals. I don't know if that went off a skate or a body or who it hit before it went in. Sardina fired it in front of the net. It hit somebody, but it found the back of the net. That's the most important part. It's now a 2-1 hockey game.
Went off Briggs, it looks like. So, yeah, it looks like that's going to be Sardina's goal. We'll wait for the official word from the scorekeeper, but Buffalo State does exactly what they needed. You know, they're going to have this 5-on-3 for 5 minutes, so they got one early. Now get this thing tied, and now we can talk about what's next, but also play sound.
Yeah, 4:06 remaining in this double 5-minute major power play.
These are rare.
I don't think I've ever seen a 5-minute 5-on-3. But this is that door wide open for Buff State. They had basically been on their heels throughout this game. Niagara giving them quite the boost here by taking this penalty. Buff State setting it up. Elliott Hunt across ice to Cole Newman. Now back to Hunt, the top of the circle. Tries to stick handle it away from one man. Just refines possession, then takes that shot. LaSalle making the save as a Buff State player gets run over outside of the goal crease well after the whistle. And that was P.J. Abbott laying that hit on Joe Lotempio.
First
goaltender? I could see a penalty called on that one. That was very late.
Very uncharacteristic of Abbott today. I've liked his game a lot, but he's a little feisty today, and not the good kind. I mean, in his defense, you clear the crease, but the whistle had gone. Lotempio was whacking at it, but no harm. I mean, Lotempio's up and he's not hurt, so I guess no harm, no foul. But the chippiness on this game is, I don't think that's going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it's already a 5-on-3, so it's got to be pretty vicious in order to get another penalty called.
I might have giggled a bit if they called a penalty there. I mean, I wouldn't complain about it, but I might have been like, I don't love this.
I don't think it really would have had any real factor anyway. It still would have been a 5-on-3 for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
Does that mean you can get away with anything right now?
I think it would be delayed. I think they would. I think they would get 2 minutes as this.
Oh, okay, yeah,
so
that makes sense. So it would be pushed back. 3:05 to go in the power play here. A 5-on-3 for a full 5 minutes. As Stoats carries it into the offensive zone, takes a little bit of a bump there from Abbott, but he gets it along to Lotempio.
Just get out of the corner
now
and
back
get set.
to Stoats as the two of them are in a little bit of close corners. Finally get it free from there. Now around the perimeter, Sardina with an opportunity to let one go. Fires that snapshot, but missing that top corner high and wide. Ends up coming all the way back out of the zone, back into Buff State territory with 2:38 to go in the power play. Passes a little bit off the mark there for Buff State, but they still have possession here. Yeah, uncontested passes have difficulty handling them. Shouldn't be the case. Finally, they do settle it down as it's Joe Lotempio gaining the blue line. Gets it across to Cole Newman. Newman's drop pass, not enough on it to get to Elliott Hunt. And now this is a 2-on-0 here for Niagara. A.J. White hesitates a little bit instead of coming out, and it comes out in front of the net, but the only thing worse than that execution there from the Bengals in the offensive zone was that 2-on-0 there in the offensive zone for Niagara.
I don't think they were ready for A.J. White to sit back. He was trying to look him off, and A.J. White didn't move. I mean, I don't know if that was strategy or the injury, but how are they getting out possession right now with a 5-on-3?
Minute 51 in the 5-on-3 as it's Zach Briggs finding possession and keeping a hold of it here in the offensive zone. He lays a hit as the Bengals are making a change in their own end. Now Train carries it out in front, and he gets the shorthanded goal down 2 men. It's a 5-on-3 goal for Niagara, and it's Blake Train who's been a force in this game in the physical department. Now he's on the score sheet with a shorthanded goal, the second one for the Purple Eagles here in this game, and it's now a 3-1 Niagara lead.
How do you allow that to happen, Aaron? How do you allow that to happen?
I'm puzzled.
I don't. There's nothing to say. That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. That is a joke. Sorry, I don't know what else to say. You deserve to lose every game you play if that happens.
I mean, it was a good 20 seconds that they had possession of the puck while they only had 3 players on the ice.
There were 2 guys leaving the zone. Like I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. This is I don't know what else to say.
Including a change.
There's no.
Including a defenseman going to the bench for a change while the other team had possession in their own end.
And now they're going to start doing this. You're losing. You can't be doing this.
Bengals trying to dig out a loose puck.
Niagara's got a gripe here. Niagara has a gripe. They can whine for a penalty.
Yeah, this was the same thing that happened at the other end.
Same thing.
Bengals in there defending their goaltender. Niagara in there defending LaSalle. LaSalle defending himself as well in that exchange.
It's kind of. I might go as far as to say I'm shocked, maybe a little bit annoyed that there's no penalty called there.
Yeah, because at this point, this is a spot where the referees really have to start exerting a little bit more control.
Got to protect the
Some of
goaltenders.
those net mouth scrambles are going to just spill out of control if they are allowed to happen throughout the rest of this game. What is this call?
What are they?
Is this a token neutral zone face-off?
I guess.
As opposed to calling a penalty against Buff State?
That's how you.
I don't know if Niagara is going to feel like that's enough for them, but doesn't matter. They win the face-off and send it the length of the ice anyways with a minute 10 to go.
They're going to get possession.
This is brutal.
This is terrible.
Ethan Knopf doing whatever he wants here in the offensive zone, just plays it back into the neutral zone, and Train's now going to have plenty of time to kill off more of this penalty as playing keep away here from the Bengals. That is tough to watch.
Unbelievable. Oh, my God. They got to get another one.
Haven't seen a bigger gift goal in a long time.
I got nothing, Aaron.
Unfortunately, our camera has frozen in the process as Ethan Knopf scores shorthanded for Niagara. It is now a 4-1 lead as it is the Niagara Purple Eagles scoring now their 3rd shorthanded goal in this game, and pretty much putting the nail in the coffin here for the Buff State Bengals as what has been a
hilarious game, hilarious effort.
This 5-on-3 has been one of the it's a rare to see a 5-on-3 for 5 minutes, and there's been 2 goals scored, but both of them scored by the team that is shorthanded.
Yeah, and the Bengals did score on this too. That's the thing. I mean,
Sardina gets knocked down into the net as the net comes off of its pegs. See if there's any sort of call coming from this one. I don't believe there will be. A little bit of a conversation, though, about it, as Sardina clearly didn't like getting knocked into the back of the net there. 34 seconds still remaining here on the Buff State power play.
Is it really? Can we call it that at this point? They just have more guys on the ice right now.
It's a 5-on-3 is what it is, but it's been part and parcel of what we've had here throughout this game.
This is like this has got to be the lowest point. It's got to be. Like, you should have been thinking about coming out of this period with the lead. You allowed 2 goals, and Niagara has 30 seconds to score again. That's the sad part. The team that's down 2 men is more of a threat to score right now. And I'm sorry if I sound angry, but man, great play.
Yeah,
great
good
save.
setup there from Elliott Hunt as he get that shot right in on goal. Sardina's redirection. Good save made by Lascelles. As 26 seconds left to go in the double major penalty that was handed out earlier. It's a 4-1 lead, though, for Niagara as they have been dominant after giving up that 1 goal, getting 2 shorthanded goals of their own. And now they get that puck cleared out to center ice with just 20 seconds remaining in the penalty. Mitch Thornton with possession here as he gains the Niagara blue line up the right wing. Stops along the hash marks, now looking for a pass with 10 seconds to go in the power play. Shot through traffic, a little bit of a screen in front there, but Lascelles able to see that one, make the save and hold on. Now just 7 seconds remaining in the power play.
Yeah, and it might even be a good thing that this power play is coming to an end for the Bengals at this point. And NU's going to come out fresh when they're back to even strength with about half the period to work with as well. So, I mean, the Bengals, I don't even know what you can do at this point.
They win this face-off, but the shot is blocked. Niagara has done what they can here to have to kill off a 5-minute penalty. They've done all the work in their own zone. That was a little bit of a fast change there. You had guys coming out of the penalty box and then players coming off the bench joining that play quickly. Niagara could have been flagged for a too many men on the ice, though. They are not, and now it's into the offensive zone for Elliott Hunt. Stand up to a check there from P.J. Abbott, and the Bengals find possession along the blue line. Sardina has to go out into center ice, though, to maintain that possession. Just dumps it in, then goes for a change.
This isn't meant to imply anything, so take this for whatever you want to, but if the Bengals' idea to try and swing momentum is to try and play the body-checking game with NU, not saying anything, but that is not going to work.
Nice play there by Bratton to stop and start and get himself some space to let a shot in on goal. A.J. White making the save with the pad. Rebound is then cleared back towards the point and then off the leg of Joe Lotempio and into the Niagara bench. So a stoppage in play with 8:45 to go in second period action. It's a 4-1 lead for Niagara as a strange 5-on-3 major penalty was seen here in this period. There were 3 goals scored in it, but it was the team that was shorthanded that had 2 of those goals. Niagara a 3 shorthanded goal night here today to go along with the 4 shorthanded goals that the Bengals have already given up this season. They might start declining power plays.
Yeah, I mean, if that's an option, can you just take the puck on the 15 instead of taking a power play? Just get possession. Maybe Bengals don't have to take face-offs. Whenever there's a whistle, they just get it in pickup and they get it behind the net.
Yeah, puck on the back of the net there as Moore and Newman there content to see the whistle blow play dead. Another face-off coming up inside the Bengals zone. 8:24 now to go in the second period. Still a 4-1 lead for Niagara as the Purple Eagles make a couple of changes here. It's going to be Ethan Knopf coming out for this face-off. He scored the second shorthanded goal for the Purple Eagles. And it's going to be the captain for the Bengals, Joe Lotempio, on for the face-off. One cleanly back to the point. DiMattio's shot through a little bit of a screen, but a good arm save there by A.J. White. Comes back to the far point, and then Train feeds it right back down low to Riddle. Riddle through the legs of the Buff State defenseman, now out the other side as he's looking for a pass. Gets it back to the point. DiMattio's shot gets deflected maybe just lightly there by Ethan Knopf in front of A.J. White. White hangs on for a whistle. 8:06 to go. Good to see A.J. seeming to be back to full physical capabilities here as after he took that hit earlier on in this period. Took him quite a while to get back to his feet, and he seems to be back to normal now.
Yeah, and that is good to see because that's something that's a blow this team can't absorb right now.
Bengals getting control of it, getting it up to Mendick. Mendick's pass is pretty easily intercepted by DiMattio, and the Purple Eagles come right back in the other direction. Good shoulder, though, by Cole Newman to stop that charge into the offensive zone. DiMattio back inside of his own blue line, sets it up for his D partner Train, and then cross ice. And now this is going to be Mandia getting a stick there from Ryan Dene. Bengals have done a good job here in this shift with throwing the body and being effective. Not huge hits, but effective hits. And that's really all you need to do with a good body check.
And Dene is the physical presence, which is nice to see. They really need to. They need to do something here, but this ain't it.
Yeah, unable to get it out there on the far side is a little bit of a drive-by on the Niagara defenseman from the Buff State forward. Now Niagara sets it up behind the net, wraparound attempt as it was DiMatteo trying to go high on the backhand there. A.J. White making the save, but it's going to be the Purple Eagles keeping it going. Bengal tries to throw a hit there on the far side, but it is Militello getting the better of that. As whistle goes here in the Buff State zone. Looks like the net might be off as the officials come over to get it back into its proper position. Buff State is not going to be allowed to make a change here as Cole Newman being told he's unable to go to the bench.
Yeah, and the Bengals have been just pinned in right now. I mean, the air's just sucked completely out of the Bengals' sails right now, and NU is just doing a great job of controlling just about everything. So it's been all NU minus the one Buff State goal that literally went off an NU player. So even NU was responsible for Buff State's goal.
Bengals with more difficulty in finding possession. That should have been able to be at least cleared to the blue line, but it's kept in on two different attempts. Stumpo getting the second one here at the near point, making sure it's fed down low. Mandia then almost got a pass out in front of the net as he was camped out right in the top of the crease. Brady Knopf on the far side, make sure it stays deep in the offensive zone as two Niagara Purple Eagles try to get it away from Dene. Dene takes a little bit of a hold, but he gets it through the neutral zone before he loses a stick. And now Mendick tries to help out, but it's going to be Stumpo with plenty of room here on the near side to walk it through the neutral zone. His shot hits Cole Newman up in the upper body and ends up in the crease here. Good opportunity for Niagara as it was A.J. White scrambling back into position to try to find that one as Niagara players are trying to get a penalty shot call, and they're going to get one here as it was a Buff State player falling on top of that one and not A.J. White. The Niagara players in there pretty quickly trying to lobby for that penalty shot, and they do get that call, as not a whole lot of argument from Buff State either.
I mean, that's what they had to do to save a goal, and now it's going to be on A.J. White, who's been the Bengals' best player, make no mistake, but he's also, we don't know how well he's feeling on that injury, and now he's got to try and wait out a shooter. So let's see. It's number
15, Ryan Militello. We saw him take a shootout last year against Fredonia and scored in that attempt. It's a penalty shot that he took in last year against Fredonia. Let's see if he can repeat that magic from last season as number 15, Ryan Militello, has the opportunity on the penalty shot here with 6:18 to go in the second period and a chance to add to the Niagara 4-1 lead.
What's the discussion? We all know what to do here. Just
referees know that the game is being broadcast. They want that extra time on camera.
I guess.
All right, whistle is blown. Here comes Militello for the penalty shot. Slowly into the offensive zone as he surveys the goaltender. Takes the shot, trying to go 5-hole. A.J. White making a big stop there and slamming his stick on the ice in celebration. I'd like to see a little bit more of a reaction from the Buff State bench in response to that, but barely even a stick tap for their netminder. Not even coming to congratulate him a whole lot here in the defensive zone. Finally, it's Mitch Thornton over there to tap him on the pads as A.J. White keeps this one a game in reach. And his teammates, I don't know, showing the type of appreciation that they should for it, but great save there on the shootout, on the penalty shot attempt there by Ryan Militello, trying to go 5-hole and sneak it through A.J. White. Nice stop, though, as Bengals netminder standing up to that challenge here.
Yeah, I mean, A.J. White didn't quit on him right there. I mean, he made the save and it came up big. So, if there's a push coming back, wow.
Why is that icing?
He touched it before it touched the line.
He touched it before it got to the goal line, and he slowed down when he got to the blue line.
I don't know, Aaron. I mean,
I agreed with the penalty shot call a moment ago, so let's not paint me as too much of a homer here, but that was an easy one to wave off, and it looked like he never even considered it.
The NU player was surprised because he started to
pick up his pace to go up ice. Well, Niagara takes advantage. They win a face-off. A great redirection through the legs by Cristaldi. Can't get it inside the post, and then A.J. White covers it up there. A beautiful-looking play that almost delivers a highlight reel goal for Niagara.
And the Bengals cannot have A.J. White doing that because now he's slow to get up again. And he had to lay there on that bad leg, and he got whacked at 4 times, and not a single defenseman came to his aid until he got whacked about 6 times. I mean,
yeah, it was a cleanly won face-off back to Bratton.
1, 2,
and Bracken
3, 4, 5 whacks at the puck before anyone touched him.
Bratton had all day to get the shot away, and then a great redirection almost ends up in a Niagara goal. And now Bratton has it in the far corner. 5:50 to play in the second period as Bratton maintains possession along the goal line. Getting away from 3 Buff State players and then getting it back to the point. The shot from Cook hits a body and goes wide. Abbott slides in from the right point to keep it going. Pass is intercepted, though, by Elliott Hunt. He looks to carry it through the neutral zone. Just tries to stick handle through two Niagara players. And pretty easily they take the puck back away from him, get it up ice. Now Cristaldi has a step. Cristaldi tries to get that wrist shot away, but he fans on it. And that allows Pernetta to move it up ice here on the near side. Out of the reach, though, of Crapsey as he just kind of reaches for that one instead of skating through that loose puck. And now could be an opportunity in front. And a point-blank opportunity from Cristaldi as he let a quick wrist shot go. A.J. White making the save. Briggs keeping it going for the Purple Eagles. Back to the point. Cross-ice pass. Now again here on the tape as it was maybe just a little bit behind Briggs. Settles it down and gets it back to Abbott. Abbott gets it poked away from him, though, by Crapsey, and maybe an opportunity with numbers for the Bengals. Crapsey taking the shot, trying to go high, blocker side. Nice save by LaSalle. Pins it to between his arm and his midsection and holds on for a whistle. 4:49 as the Niagara Purple Eagles still maintaining this 4-1 lead in this contest.
Yeah, good rush there by Nick Crapsey, and Elliott Hunt trailing. Really, really good poke here, and then Crapsey goes flying up the left wing. Doesn't really have much of an option to pass as the passing lane's taken away by both the on-puck defender and P.J. Abbott trailing with Elliott Hunt. So Crapsey tries to fire one short side. Really good hard shot. Great save by the goaltender, and then he holds the rebound.
And now Buff State going to take an offensive zone penalty here. And again, it's the captain, Joe Lotempio, taking a stick penalty. That's 3 games in a row for one of the least penalized players on this Buff State roster. And if that doesn't explain the entire season, I'm not sure what else will.
Yeah, it does. Nothing really to say about it. It's just the discipline. It's not there right now. I mean, I don't know what needs to happen. I mean, they're short bench, but not showing well tonight. Nobody is, except for, I mean, A.J. White's done his part. There's some nice things here and there, but, I mean, pretty brutal showing so far in this game for the Bengals. Just because they're in Halloween-colored uniforms doesn't mean they have to play terrifyingly bad. Like that joke was, because that's where I'm at.
I don't know.
Right
I think
now.
that was better than a lot what we've seen on the ice here tonight.
No, it's all right. I mean, I've got some tendon pain for the reach, but other than that, we're good.
Niagara getting their power play set up. This is DiMatteo here against the near boards. Midpoint to Cook. Cook on that left flank. He's got a man there. That pass connects in front of the net. 2 opportunities for Riddle there right in front of the net, but A.J. White making the pad save. Getting the clear, though, as Cole Newman picks it up and sends it the length of the ice. The first 30 seconds of this penalty have been killed off as we approach the 4-minute mark in period 2. Jankowski deep in the offensive zone trying to create a loose puck. Stoats gets in the way of a passing lane, and now Riddle has to circle back into his own zone before starting it up ice for the Purple Eagles. He's got Cook just inside the blue line as he walks that blue line and gets it across to DiMatteo. Lets that shot go from the top of the circle. Save made by A.J. White. But Niagara finding possession again. Cook over to DiMatteo again. Slap shot this time. Looked like it got deflected just barely wide as it was Cole Newman getting the stick on that one. 52 seconds now in the Niagara power play. Continue to have a lot of room to work with here as it's a tired group of penalty killers out there for the Bengals. Shot taken from the left side. Rebound comes out in front, and it's tucked home. DiMatteo finding the rebound and putting the backhand into an open net. And a power play goal now has made this one a 5-1 lead for Niagara. They've scored all 3 ways, almost all 4 ways in this game. They have shorthanded goal, even strength goal, and now a power play goal as part of their 5-1 lead.
And there was a fight, too, where a dude was chucking knocks. So they've literally done everything except for bury the penalty shot. And just like we've seen, A.J. White makes the initial save on a point shot. The puck sits in the slot. 3 Bengals either stare at it or swing and miss on it, and then it's just sitting there for a gift, and it's in the back of the net again. I mean, at some point,
you gotta feel like you've seen that goal a half dozen times this year.
I think I have. I've seen it a half dozen times in the last week. I don't like it.
Still 3 minutes to go here in the second period, and Niagara continuing to look to add to their lead as it was Luke Cross with an opportunity at the doorstep, left wide open, and fed a pass in front of the net. Basically, the only thing that kept the Bengals from giving up another one there was the fact that Cross's shot went high and wide.
I mean, it's just the Bengals are just out there. They're no one's skating. They look pretty defeated right now. I mean, it's 5-1. I mean, but they're not getting to the puck. The passing's nowhere near anything that's intended to be a target. It's just been bad, just bad. And you know what? To be, because we're gonna try to be non-biased here. NU's also played a great game. There was the one issue where the goaltender got hit. That was dealt with. That player's out of the game. No big deal. They killed the penalty. They continue to attack. They've made all the right things. They've just sat there Buff State makes a mistake, they take what Buff State hands them, they capitalize on it. That is what a good team does, and that's what NU has shown today, that they're still one of the top teams in this league.
And they've just gotten better from where they were last year. On paper, you would think that Buff State should be right where they were last year. There weren't a whole lot of players that were lost off of last year's 17-win team. Yet not exactly sure what is going on here as this team has started the season. Despite the lot of talent, it's now a 1-4 record, and it's about to go to 1-5 with the way this game is going.
And even with the win, there was plenty to be concerned about after the way they played in their opening win. So, I mean, we still have yet to have one of those great Bengals games we've been so accustomed to seeing over the last little while.
5-on-5 play continuing here as Stotz gets into the offensive zone. He sidesteps a check from Briggs, but his pass goes through the slot all the way back out to center ice, and now Bratton picking it up with some speed. Lays it off for Briggs, and he has all the time in the world to walk in from that right point. Thankfully, from a Buff State perspective, lets that puck roll up onto the stick, and he shoots it up and out of play. He's going to get a little bit of a help from the referee, who's giving him an offensive zone face-off here for some reason. I can't exactly determine why, but the draw is going to be to the left of A.J. White, and we have 1:46 to go here in the second period.
They're trying to say that was deflected, and I can't for the life of me figure out how they can come to that conclusion.
There was nobody there to deflect it. He had a clean lane to walk in towards the front of the net. Bengals, though, get possession in the aftermath of the faceoff as Cole Newman carries it up ice. Looks to get a pass out in front of the net and takes a huge hit from P.J. Abbott as he threw the shoulder into him, and now Cole Newman's slow to get back to his position. Now actually just going back to the bench here as his legs in a bunch of discomfort.
He got drilled right there. I mean, it was clean, but he went into the boards awkwardly, and he's in rough shape right now.
Loose puck in the neutral zone as we try to get our camera issue fixed here, as we have just a little bit of an issue getting the feed across. We'll get that sorted away here as we are in the last minute of play in the second period. It's still a 5-1 lead for Niagara as they carried into the offensive zone with Cook. Backhand shot in on goal. Almost got it past, and then eventually the trailer does put it in, and it is Niagara picking up their 6th goal of the game, and it is a 6-1 lead now for the Purple Eagles, as again it is a goal scored in the last minute of play in the period. And now there's a little bit of jawing going back and forth between a Niagara player and a Buff State player after the 6th Niagara goal is scored.
Not really sure how anybody in orange can be chirping right now. I mean, you're getting just absolutely lambasted in your own building right now, and it's not been good pretty much at all. But if I'm Buff State, I'm just putting my head down and getting through this game and just trying to make it respectable. But the last thing I'm going to try to do right now is chirp. There's no place for it. You have just been beaten handily through 2 periods in every facet of the game, and now you got to play him for another period.
I'm not sure beat handily really goes far enough to say what it is.
I can't think of the actual word without using a swear.
It's called getting embarrassed in your own building.
Humiliated.
Might have an opportunity, though, with Sardina as he gets himself a little bit of room on that right side. His shot missing the net high and wide, and now Niagara might have numbers. This is Kroll getting it into the offensive zone. He's got a man in front of the net, gets it across to Riddle. Riddle just can't handle it, as the second effort to gain control of that one is what kept him from getting the shot in on goal. Kroll able to walk out in front of the net, pretty much uncontested. Geez. Fortunately, though, misses the net with that shot. 5 seconds to go in the period as that pass comes right out in front of the net, slowly through the Bengals' crease. Niagara not sure where the clock was, it seemed, as the point man Train picked it up there in the left point and took his time with it. Maybe that little extra patience had to do with not knowing what was on the clock, or as Sean suggested,
maybe sportsmanship.
Yeah, maybe just a touch of sportsmanship in a 5-goal game. This has been a tough one to watch from a Buff State perspective. It's a 6-1 lead for Niagara after 40 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to talk about how well NU is playing right now because they showed up today. So they're playing, 3 shorthanded goals, a power play goal, worked hard enough to earn a penalty shot. They're getting the goaltending. Their defensemen are just bodying dudes right now, playing physically, playing clean for the most part. I mean, literally, Buff State threw a jab in the first shift, and then NU responded with 3 haymakers and then a drop kick to the chin.
And deservingly so. They have a 5-goal lead after 2 periods of play. It could be more. You would think that it should be less, considering they had to kill off a 5-on-3 for 5 minutes in that penalty.
Instead,
they scored twice on that. Part of an epidemic here from Buffalo
I don't
State
even
when
want to
they're
hear
when
from
they're with the power
anybody.
play.
If I'm sounding biased or angry, I will not apologize for it. Just there's no pride being shown. Like, people came out to support this, and the Bengals are just not doing it for them. I don't think I'm being unfair. It's just been one of those games where it's like you didn't even come to the rink. You might as well not showed up tonight. You have a period to right some wrongs. Show some pride here, because you have shown nothing. Nothing through 2 periods. Nothing.
You could make a case that you're just an undermanned unit here without as much energy to play against a stronger team. But you know what? I'm only gonna listen to that so long, and really, the pride comes back again, and it's really the pride of taking care of your teammates.
What do you do when you're undermanned? When a team goes undermanned themselves for 5-on-3, you take advantage. What you've done by allowing them to score, and not even allowing them to score. If a guy makes a great play and scores, a guy makes a great play and scores, and you're getting out-possessioned in your own end while you have a 5-on-3 and you allow 2 goals, I don't want to say you deserved a forfeit, but how do you expect to beat anybody doing that? All right, I got to stop before I get angry.
All right, that brings us to the conclusion of period number 2 as we are going to step away here for our second intermission. Just a reminder, before we step away for the intermission, support for Buffalo State Club Hockey comes from Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. Also by Ivy Lee Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy for over 60 years. Ivy Lee can cover all of your immunization needs from flu shots to the newest COVID-19 vaccine. Supporters also include Pool Mart, your family fun store. Find them online, poolmartonline.com. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for digital media solutions for small businesses. Visit them at 412communications.com to learn how they can help you and your brand build bridges with the people you serve. Supporters also include Colvin Cleaners, dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and all garment services. Colvin Cleaners, where the Buff State Club hockey team goes to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This broadcast also brought to you by Envious Gameware, the official uniform provider of the Buffalo State Club hockey team. You can find them online at enviousgameware.com. This is the Nichols City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for amateur hockey. We're going to step away here for the second intermission. Rejoin you in about 10 minutes for period 3. Buffalo State College Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart. For any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. And by Colvin Cleaners. For dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more, Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. This is the Nickel City Hockey Network, Western New York's new broadcast home for college, high school, and junior hockey. And welcome back to the Buffalo State Ice Arena as we get ready for third period play in this UNY CHL Metro Division matchup. It is the Niagara University Purple Eagles with a 6-1 lead after 2 periods of play, handling the Buff State Bengals in pretty convincing fashion here so far. 20 minutes still to go here from the Buffalo State Ice Arena as Niagara with the 5-goal lead to start off third period play. No penalties carrying over despite a ton of them being handed out in the second period. So 5-on-5 play as we get the third period underway from the Buffalo State Ice Arena. My name's Aaron Elpern, joined by Sean McHugh for the call of this game on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Thank you for taking some of your Saturday night out to join us for this game. Face-off about ready to go here at center ice as we see if we can get a little bit of a pride response from the team in orange. This has not been a game that I don't think there's going to be much to be proud of so far from the team in orange and black. See if there's some sort of response here in the last 20 minutes.
Their uniforms look cool.
Yep, that's about all you can say so far from what they've put out there on the ice. The good-looking uniforms, but not the effort to go with it. Offsides now as the little bit of a slowdown there along the blue line kind of negated the zone entry opportunity. Elliott Hunt just with a little bit of difficulty in settling that one down. So the face-off right below our broadcast position. A little bit more than 20 seconds into this third period. Our apologies for the technology issues on our scoreboard on our feed. Unable to get everything working in proper order to have the time running, but we'll continue to give you updates on that. As it appears that another Buff State penalty is being taken here. We have the official with his arm up here in the offensive zone, but Niagara with possession of it. They have the goaltender out of the net and 6 skaters out there trying to take advantage of this delayed call. Pass comes across the ice, shot in on goal by Brady Knopf. Ethan Knopf finding possession behind the net. Now back to the point. This is going to be Bratton on the far side. Delayed penalty continuing here as Niagara maintains possession. Back to the point. Brady Knopf looking for that cross-ice pass, but he can't get it quite to Riddle. Riddle, though, has possession of it as they still have possession in the offensive zone. Bengals unable to get that touch to get that penalty call that's coming up. Brady Knopf on the far side as this is going to end up being like almost a 3-minute power play by the time that finally Buff State touches that one up. Finally, they do get the whistle called, and it's a holding penalty being signaled. And it looks like it's, again, the captain, Joe Lotempio, getting signaled for this one.
Yeah, it's just been a brutal showing by the Bengals today, and it just doesn't, it doesn't start any better for them to start this period.
Yep, there's the captain, number 28, Joe Lotempio, heading to the penalty box. 2 minutes for holding. So another chance on the power play for Niagara. Their power play hasn't gotten a lot of chances here tonight, but they did score a power play goal in the second period. Their power play was very effective last week in their win over Georgia that we brought you on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Let's see what they can do with this opportunity with the man advantage. Umbrella set up here as Brady Knopf and Zach Briggs switch positions. Back to the point, but right between the 2-point men and all the way back to the goalie Lascelles, giving the Bengals a couple of seconds off of killing this penalty. Quickly up ice, though. Here comes Brady Knopf up the right wing. Cross ice to Kroll and into the offensive zone. Kroll stopping here on the near boards. Him and Briggs switch spots, and now back to the midpoint to Brady Knopf. Knopf gets it back to Kroll here on the left flank. Cross ice pass looking for more. Unable to handle that one, and he has to chase it down in the far corner. Dene watching him. Back to the point. Brady Knopf looks for that shooting lane. Gets it through with the wrist shot. Right in on A.J. White. Save is made, and he holds on for a whistle. Minute 13 remaining in this Niagara power play as they get 5 new players out there for the second half of this man advantage.
Yep, and again, looks like almost like a conservative-looking power play, not trying not to score, but Niagara making sure the passes are smart, making sure they don't crack that door open for the Bengals, just make sure they keep possession and just hold the puck and get out of here with this win. Because with a 5-goal lead, they don't need to do anything crazy or do any work for Buff State to make their job to come back any easier.
Plenty of time here to work on their power play setup as Franklin and Cook play catch with it. Big slap shot there from the midpoint. Looked like it was deflected just barely wide of the far post. DiMatteo finds control and gets it back to Franklin. Franklin across to Cook at the midpoint yet again. Now to his defensive partner DiMatteo, and the two of them play catch up top. Ooh, that looked like a little bit of a miscommunication. That pass might have been intended for the farther on target. DiMatteo eventually finds control of it, now with 41 seconds remaining on this Niagara power play. DiMatteo at the right point, now to Cook. Bengals have only gotten one clear on this power play so far, and it was because Niagara cleared it out of the zone for them. That happens again here in this case. 28 seconds now remaining in the penalty as the Bengals try to get a change in. Cook carries it across the blue line. Circles, now back to his point position. Nice pass through the legs of the Buff State defenseman to Franklin. Out in front and then to the back door. That was a highlight reel goal that was there for Riddle, but it just went off the heel of his stick and went wide. Pretty setup there with the power play there for Niagara.
Yeah, Niagara's power play looks great right now.
They were looking for that backdoor pass yet again. Riddle again struggling to handle it. Still got a shot away. A.J. White had to make a tight save from there in close. Penalty expires as Joe Lotempio rejoins the play. 16:35 now to go in the third period. Good body check there by Mitch Thornton, allowing the Bengals to get control of it. Now it's going to be Caden Mendick carrying it through the center ice.
Got to move the puck. You can't just skate it like that.
Ends up over stick handling it and losing control. Now he retreats to play defense. Ethan Knopf, though, taking a bump there. That keeps him from getting a shot away. Lotempio then finding possession, trying to get it out the far side, but it's kept in. Now a one-time opportunity. A.J. White slides across and makes the glove save, denying Militello the second time here today. Militello seems to be the only one who's going to leave this building frustrated from the Purple Eagles' perspective.
Yeah, him and Riddle are getting great scoring chances. A.J. White, again, great save. I mean, Riddle was set up, had it on a platter for him twice, and he just fanned on the back door one time or two times. And again, the Bengals leaving the back door wide open again. Got to stop doing that.
Again, they lose possession of the faceoff, and Niagara maintains the zone. Abbott making sure it gets sent down deep in the Buff State end. And it's going to be a pass intercepted by Sardina, and maybe some opportunity here into the offensive zone. Sardina gets it around Stumpo, but a little bit of a bump from him keeps him from getting a shot away. Backhand pass in front. Nobody there but Niagara players. And now back up ice into the offensive zone. It's Militello. Just stumbles a little bit and loses control of that possession. But he has a teammate there to pick him up in the corner. And now a 2-on-2 battle for that loose puck. Mandia and Militello trying to get it away from Stotz and Dene. Dene eventually gets it out of that pile. Now carries it to the near corner. Backhand pass up that wing, but that one's intercepted, and Niagara keeps it moving in the offensive end. Militello now trying to chase it down behind the net. 15:20 to go in regulation as it comes back to the point to Stumpo. His shot in on goal. A.J. White made the save but couldn't hold on to it. Ends up falling out of his glove and just barely missing wide. Niagara, though, keeps it in as Buff State unable to clear the zone. Militello behind the net takes a stick check from Cole Newman. Had to be careful to avoid a slashing penalty there. One more slash would have probably resulted in a 2-minute minor. Then A.J. White making a save on the shot from the point. Ends up covering up the rebound and holding on for a whistle as we have 14:52 to play in regulation. It's a 6-1 Niagara lead. They are firmly in command of this one here from the Buff State Ice Arena.
Yep, and now they're just playing a really, really smart pitch and catch possession, make no mistakes, force Buff State, who has to play desperate if they're going to have any hope of getting back into this game, to do the work for them. They're doing it to a T right now. The entire period, minus a few rushes here and there, have been spent in the Bengals' end.
Yeah, tough to come back in a game where you're in your end for most of this period so far, as we're about 5 minutes into the third frame. As Niagara finding possession just inside of their blue line. Buff State unable to get it deep into the offensive zone yet again. And again, Niagara right back through the neutral zone, now setting up that forecheck. Briggs out racing Pernetta to that loose puck. Shrugs him off and gets a pass out in front. Wojciechowski lets that shot go. Good save by A.J. White as he came out right to the top of the crease and made the save there on Wojciechowski as the defenseman tried to step in from his point position to add to the goal total here for Niagara in this game.
Yep, and they're still getting the looks. A.J. White, to his credit, still playing, though, still challenging shots, still on top of the blue paint, making the saves. There's one player that you can't blame for the result here. It's A.J. White right now. He brought his game today. His teammates have not done much to help him out today, though.
Yeah, you can question a little bit of the pride being shown here by the Buff State team, but I'm not going to say that about the goaltender, A.J. White. He can be proud of the way he has played in this game. Got hurt in the second period. Stopped a penalty shot, though, despite that. And he is still putting that top-grade effort here in the third period, despite the fact that his team is down 5 goals and can't get the puck out of his zone.
Yep, I mean, it's been brutal for him today. You got to feel for him at some point.
Apparently have another issue with our camera image. We will try to get that sorted away here as Niagara loses control of it in the offensive zone. Player down behind the play as the Bengals move it up ice. Then a big hit there on Mark Hager as the whistle is finally blown for the Niagara player that is struggling to get back to his feet behind the play. That's Zach Briggs.
Yeah, Hunt hit him up pretty high. Look, he got his helmet knocked off. He looks like he's all right, though, so at least no one's injured there. But, yeah, I mean, you're still going to see some big hits right now. I just want to make sure that the line between physical hockey and dirty play is not crossed, especially in a 5-goal game.
I did not see what happened there on that one. You had a little bit of a better look than I did as I was trying to get the camera sorted away. It seems that we've got that technical issue, a couple of technical issues we've had tonight. Hopefully the remaining 14:25 of the third period will be clean in terms of a broadcast perspective. Buff State's going to have an offensive zone draw here, and it is Stotz and Scanlon on for the draw. Yet another face-off win by Niagara.
Yeah, this team needs some work on the dot. They're borderline bad in the face-off dot.
Almost ends up as a 3-on-2 through the neutral zone as it was the defenseman DiMatteo jumping into the play. Bengals not coming back there with the kind of speed that Niagara is clearly.
Oh,
clearing attempt just goes off the back glass and then up and out of play. So 14:05 now remaining here in this third period. Bengals trying to muster a little bit of a push in this game, but it has been a woeful effort so far. And Niagara taking advantage, and they have a pretty commanding 6-1 lead as a result.
Yep, and they're continuing to possess the puck through 6 minutes of play time. Probably 4.5 of that 6 minutes has been spent in the Buffalo State end. Albeit there was a power play, but still.
Bengals get it up ice, but Crapsey unable to get it away from the defenseman DiMatteo, and Niagara forces it right back into the Buff State end. Hits off the linesman. It shouldn't be offsides. The linesman was inside the blue line. It hit off of him and then still stayed inside the zone.
That's hilarious.
But he blows the play dead for an offsides nonetheless.
Well, I mean,
and they're going to get
no,
you can't put the draw deep in the zone. It never got to that point.
This guy's funny.
You're giving them an offensive zone draw because you made the call wrong.
That's funny.
I mean, it's a 5-goal game. It really doesn't matter, but that's
right, dude.
That's just not the proper call.
What does every official do when they make a mistake? You drop the puck at center ice. This was an important face-off. This would be a huge deal. I mean, this is the one Buff State wins. Go figure.
That's about right. They still can't get it out of the zone. Second attempt finally does get up ice, and then a good stick there. Train again laying the hit into Mendick. Train has had 4 or 5 physical plays here tonight, not only knocking men down with that physicality, but creating loose pucks, the most important part about throwing a body check. Now Moore has a loose puck as he gets it away from 3 different Buff State players. Sets up a pass to DiMatteo, right in on net. A.J. White with the blocker save. Cole Newman then clearing that loose change out towards the corner. Moved up ice by Stotz as this Bengals team looks exhausted right now.
Oh, boy. We're at that point now. We got hangers.
delayed offsides here as the
Short
Bengals
bench.
clear the zone.
Short bench. Is Buff State really taking the Gannon approach, and they're just sending hangers now?
Ooh, the Gannon approach. I don't like that comparison. 2-on-1 now setting up. Riddle tries to get that one across. Mitch Thornton leaving his feet there to get that block, as almost ends up still in an opportunity for Ethan Knopf coming in late on that play. Bengals do clear the zone, though, as we now have 12:40 to go in regulation. Niagara quickly up ice, just a little bit too far out of the reach of Ethan Knopf, but he's the first one to it here in the near corner. Takes a little bit of a bump. Bengal player is the one that ends up going down on that play. Second time as Riddle and Newman run into each other. Puck is picked up by Sardina. Now he carries it up ice, but there's going to be a penalty behind the play. Bengals about to create their only offense here in the third period.
They got them
and
both.
Behind the play, it's Cole Newman and the Niagara player Riddle taking coincidental minors as they got tangled up.
That's brilliant. You're down 2 D-men already. You're down a forward, and now you're doing stuff behind the whistle. I mean, I don't understand it.
He was calling the holding penalty on Cole. Newman got a holding penalty. It was a slash on Riddle behind the play.
That's dumb on Riddle's part, then.
Dumb on both of their parts.
I mean, yeah, totally.
It's a 5-goal game. Puck is 80 feet away from you and moving further away.
Gotta flex on him, man. Gotta show that guy in club hockey who's boss.
Not flexing on anyone when you're down 5.
I know that, but...
All right, we see 4 players in purple, 4 players in orange, and a face-off in the neutral zone just outside the Niagara blue line. 12:23 to go in regulation. It's going to be Knopf and Sardina on for the draw. Bengals winning another face-off. That's 2 in a row.
Yay.
But they can't keep possession because they can't catch a pass. And now Knopf behind the defense, and he puts it behind the netminder. Bengals finally win a face-off, but they are unable to do much with it. And Ethan Knopf takes it through 3 different Bengal players and then finishes on the forehand. Nice move to get the 7th goal here for Niagara. And this one is just a question of what the final score is going to be.
I mean, there's not really much to say. They won the face-off. They blew it into shin pads. Knopf went 1-on-2, skated 2-3 through 3 defensemen, got the puck to his forehand, was able to wait out A.J. White, who for the 1,000th time today was hung out to dry, and now it's 7-1. And the Purple Eagles have thrown a touchdown pass in this game. It was a pass. It wasn't a run.
Yes. It was a so this will be what is looking like the 4th loss in a row for Buff State, and will be the 3rd loss in a row in which they give up 7 or more goals.
You're not going to win games doing any of what they're doing.
And I'm again going to reiterate that A.J. White is about the only one who can be proud of his effort out there on the ice tonight. It is the team in front of him that gave up 7 goals, even though it's A.J. White's goals against that is going to show the blemish of this game.
Aaron, there is a chance that Buff State does not allow double-digit goals, and the only reason that will end up happening if it does is because of how A.J. White played today.
It could already be over 10.
No, I'm saying if the Bengals keep this under 10,
yeah,
it will be because A.J. White played out of his mind.
Yeah, A.J. White's play up until this point is the only reason why it's not a 10 or 11-1 score at this point.
Sorry, boys, I don't mean to be this way, but what do you? I have nothing to go off of other than this bad hockey I'm watching, that all of our viewers are watching right now. And you fans, that you tuned into a good one. If you tuned into this broadcast that the Purple Eagles are on, but you're a Buff State fan, sorry.
So 11:08 to go in the third period. There was an icing called on that play. We continue with 4-on-4 as the Bengals have to make a change here to make sure they have the proper number of players out there. Sardina and Brings on for this draw, and Niagara wins that faceoff
the
cleanly.
Beer League special at 4-on-4. I love it.
Bratton tries to make that move around Mendick, but Mendick getting it away from them as Niagara had that stretch play set up there right off that faceoff. Pretty easy to do it when your opponents aren't moving around a whole lot to defend it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've had a harder time completing that in practice.
Briggs now through the neutral zone for the Purple Eagles. Pivots and looks for a pass. He's got a man driving towards the back door. Nobody sees Blake Train come in from the neutral zone, coming in from the back end, from the defensive end, and he's got a perfectly served up pass on a platter, and he buries it behind A.J. White. That was a pretty goal from the defenseman Blake Train, the cap on what has been a great game for him so far. He comes in late on the neutral zone. 2 Bengals players there had plenty of time to mark him and play some defense on him, but unmarked into the offensive zone. And a nice finish for that work there by Blake Train, the defenseman.
Blake Train has been the best player on the ice in all three zones. He has been an absolute menace on defense. He's put the puck into the net. His passing is good, so he is providing offense. I mean, he's all over the place, and now he has the puck again, and he's leading the forecheck. Wait, did Casilio put him at forward? No, he didn't. He was leading the rush right there. It looked like it for a second.
Well, their defensemen certainly aren't shy about jumping into the play, whether or not it's Train or if it's DiMatteo. All of their defensemen.
Or Abbott, the most notable one they have probably. He's been quiet, and it's not because he's been bad. They haven't needed him to be great today.
Abbott's being able to play that physical defensive defenseman role now because they've just added more depth in the blue line. This has been an impressive team that we've seen here from the Niagara Purple Eagles. We've been talking at length about the poor effort that we're seeing from the team in orange, but there should be a little bit more time spent here talking about how good this Niagara team is, how much they've grown on what they did last year.
Yes, and back to the point about P.J. Abbott, imagine having a roster so deep where you can actually shrink P.J. Abbott's role, but not because of anything he did wrong, but because you can load manage him now. So you can have a fresh P.J. Abbott all the time.
Yeah,
and
we saw him.
took a penalty.
Yeah, we saw Abbott in games last year would often be double shifted, but it's
not necessary. It's better.
Not necessary because they have 6 or 7 defensemen that they can dress on any given night, and all of them are equally competent, if not, they have different facets to their game to offer a little bit more for the Niagara
And then
Tech.
if you have to double shift any of them at any point, they're not sucking on fumes when you go to do it.
There were a couple of penalties handed out there. Sorry to interrupt you there, Sean.
That's all right.
It'll be 4-on-4 here as we're under the 10-minute mark in this third period. Seems like we're further on in this period than 9:42 to go, but slow-moving third period in a difficult-to-watch game. Stotz gets dragged down here as he brings it into the offensive zone, ends up hitting the post and going into the back boards. Good to see him getting back to his skates. We'd hate to see anything happen further in terms of injuries in this game.
That's one thing we can't have right now is any more injuries. We've had way too many for any game, but now in a game like this, losing players just can't happen.
Yeah, you already have a couple of players that are injured from the Buff State lineup. Gosen out of the lineup tonight with an injury. We saw Miller already leave the game with an injury that he's been trying to play through. And a lineup that also was missing a couple of its top scorers from tonight. It's a recipe for an 8-1 loss, or 8-1 and counting.
Yeah, yes, and granted, I don't know does the short bench hurt them? Yes, sure it does, but, if the players were here and we're giving this effort, the score is not any different. It's just the team didn't show up tonight.
Offsides at the Niagara blue line as the faceoff will come out to the neutral zone right below our broadcast position. This is going to be Lotempio and Mandia on for this draw as we continue with 4-on-4 play for another minute 32. 9:25 to go in regulation as Cook carries the puck up ice. This has been one of those new defensemen from Niagara that we've been impressed with. Both Cook and Train have shown their efforts out here tonight and shown how they are going to be a big part of what this Niagara attack is going to be going forward. Marcus Bratton, a familiar face. Nice move there to get himself free. Then he gets it to the defenseman Cook. Almost got it behind A.J. White. Looked like it just barely missed what was a mostly empty net there. Bengals doing a good job making sure that puck stays out of the net. And now offensive zone draw here coming up from Niagara as we have a little bit more than 9 minutes to go in regulation. Minute 11 left in the 4-on-4.
Yeah, but again, the Bengals still caught in their own end. And when the puck gets closer to the net, it almost looks like they have a harder time seeing it. The puck ended up in the net, but the play had been blown dead well before then.
Bengals with too many players out there. Eventually, Joe Lotempio skates to the bench. And it's going to be Sardina and Mandia on for this draw. Bengals win the draw, and it's going to be Cole Newman with a chance to move it up ice. He chips it around the Niagara forward, now carrying it through the neutral zone. He's got Jankowski with him as he gets it in on goal. Save is made there by the goaltender Lascelles. Niagara grabs possession. Now it's going to be Cook across the blue line. Cook tries to get a pass in front. Cole Newman getting in the way of that one, banking it off the glass and sending it back to center ice. P.J. Abbott going back there for it. Now just kind of killing off some time as we have 8:35 to go in regulation. Abbott starts out from the left side of his goal, just drops it back to his defensive partner Cook. And now Cook trying to stick handle it through the legs of Jankowski, ends up falling on the play. Bengals going to grab possession here as Sardina tries to take that slap shot. Looked like it might have rolled on him just before he let it go, and he missed the net high.
Someone hit the net, please.
Cook skating it out from behind the net now as 8:15 to go in the third period. Cook overskates it in the neutral zone, now heads to the bench for a change as Sardina sets it up for himself. Looks to carry it up ice, winding up in the neutral zone and firing it in on goal. That one misses the net as Sardina heads to the bench for a change. 7 seconds left in 4-on-4.
3-on-1.
So 3-on-1 setting up as that change was slow to happen. A.J. White with a good job of clearing that one up into the air, and yeah, that's going to be it was a little bit of a late whistle that came in there after it hit the walkway, and that allowed the Niagara player an opportunity to try to dig at a loose puck. The Buff State response was immediate because it's the only goaltender that they have, and Elliott Hunt came in there and cleaned out the Niagara player. I think that was Abbott, and now we're going to see probably more penalties given out here.
Now the coaches are yelling at the player. That's funny. Your guy ran the goalie again, and that's what happens. I mean, Casilio's mad right now. If someone touches his goalie, if his guys don't pop the guy, he's bag skating him for 3 hours. You hit the goalie after the whistle, after he's hurt again. You got what you deserved. You don't touch the other team's goalie when you're up 7 goals.
Quite an animated Niagara bench, and the scratches behind their bench as
well, the guys aren't playing, have something to say too. That's funny.
And you have a situation where players still down here in the offensive zone, though. P.J. Abbott up to his knees here as Elliott Hunt hit him very hard after that whistle. But a quicker whistle in that case might have been able to avoid that. It clearly went off the cement walkway above the Buff State net. The referee did not blow the play dead. Abbott kept playing, as you would expect in that situation. And also what you would expect in that situation is the response from Buff State. It was a violent response, and that's probably going to result in a penalty here to Elliott Hunt.
He hit him high. Didn't need to do that. I mean, he didn't need. He decked him, but also, I mean, when you touch the other team's goalie when you're up 7, that's going to happen. And the thing is, this player, P.J. Abbott, would have done the exact same thing, or else I hope he would have.
Niagara fans trying to join the conversation.
That's all right.
Looks like Elliott Hunt's being kicked out of this game. Not necessarily surprised based on his actions there. Now it's a question of whether or not A.J. White's going to be able to continue.
They took our goalie out of the game, so.
Yeah, A.J. White has gone back to the locker room as well.
I mean, they knocked out the only goaltender, so that's what you deal with.
Now the question is what Buff State's going to do here for the last 7:51.
You got to think about calling this game at some point. This is about to get a lot worse before it gets better. There's about to be, I think they're calling the game.
Well, we see another Buff State player leaving the ice.
They're all getting off the bench. This is not good. And now the fans are going at each other too. This is about to get a lot worse before it gets better. And
wasn't really sure that this could take an even worse turn than it had during the first 2 periods, but apparently there was further depths to this game. You have Buff State players going back to the locker room now.
You have fans
I'm not
chirping
sure
each other right
what
now.
is going on here as you have conversation now going on outside of the scorer's area. We might have a player going to put on A.J. White's equipment here in order to finish this game.
Okay.
That's the only thing I could think of at this point.
Without calling the game, yeah.
In terms of why there were multiple players leaving the ice. Obviously, Elliott Hunt getting kicked out of the game. That is why he left the ice. There was a second or third Buff State player that also went off the ice with A.J. White. So keeping an eye on that and keeping an eye on what happens here for the next 7:51. Well, it's going to be a little bit of a delay, I think we can go ahead and say that much for certain. So we're just going to take a little bit of a break here as we get things sorted out. It's an 8-1 score. We have 7:51 to play in third period action. And we're going to take just a little bit of a break here on the Nickel City Hockey Network.
Bridges have connected people for centuries. When it comes to helping small businesses build bridges with the people they serve, there's a new gold standard. 412 Communications offers a uniquely comprehensive array of media solutions to help your brand establish and maintain strong, lasting connections with your clientele.
To play your best, attitude and mindset are key. The saying, look good, feel good, play good, simply didn't come along by accident, and it's what Envious Gameware does with every team for which they design jerseys. Envious Gameware designs high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel, and they're the official uniform provider of Buffalo State College Club Hockey. Find them online, enviousgameware.com.
All right, so it appears we have everything sorted out now on the ice as still have the Buff State penalty box door open, the Niagara penalty box door open, a 5 on the board for Buff State, a 2 on the board for Niagara, and now we have a goaltending change from the Purple Eagles as their starter Josh Lascelles has been brought out of the game.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, in a game where there have been incidents involving goaltenders, probably the smart move to get your goaltender out before play continues. The Buff State net is empty right now, as now I'm trying to determine exactly what is going to be done here in this game. Looks like Buff State is going to play without a goaltender.
Oh, boy.
And play with 6 skaters.
Oh, boy.
All right, so we wonder if there's somebody back in the locker room that is changing into A.J. White's equipment, as there are now 5 Buff State skaters on the ice and 4 for Niagara. So it would be 4-on-4 if there were 2 goaltenders, but in this case it's going to be a
5-on-4.
It's a 5-on-4 for Buff State with the empty net. Shooting for the empty net there is from the point by DiMatteo. And it's going to be Ethan Knopf finding the loose puck, eventually putting that one in the back of the net. So it is a 9-1 score now, as it is a rare empty net goal scored with 7.5 to go in the third period.
A lot of rarities.
We're seeing a lot of things.
And you scoring all the rare goals today. If they were collecting Pokemon cards, they'd be millionaires.
The empty netter to add to the shorthanded.
You just need a penalty. If they get a penalty shot, imagine they got a penalty shot on an empty net.
Do you even have the penalty shot, or you just reward the goal?
I want to see them take the shot.
All right, so 7:20 to go in regulation. The net is empty for Buff State as the starting goaltender, A.J. White, injured here in this game. 2 different injuries, and the second one, too much for him to be able to continue here in this contest. Not sure if there is another Buff State player that is putting the goaltending equipment on right now.
I mean, the only one who went to the locker room was Cole Newman. He's back, so.
7 minutes with an empty net here is what it appears like is going to be happening in this game.
I think Joe's going to be out there the rest of the game as like the soccer goalie type.
Well, Lotempio was listed as the emergency goaltender for Buff State.
Stutz lost his edge.
Yeah, Luke Stotz losing his edge, carrying it into the offensive zone. That could have been a chance there offensively, but much like everything else here in this game, it's been just that much of a difficulty. Lotempio making a save there, as it was the Niagara player trying to shoot towards that empty net.
Play the puck, dude. Come on.
The Niagara goaltender who checking on to see who it is to criticize him for not playing the puck there and getting the icing call. That really wasn't necessary. But trying to see who the goaltender is, and I don't have that quite on my roster here, as I'll check that out, make sure I get that question answered before we continue too much. 6:24 to go here in regulation, as the Purple Eagles putting the finishing touches on what's a 9-1 lead right now, and they have plenty of opportunity to add to that, as it's a empty net for Buff State, as the starting goaltender, the lone goaltender, has been knocked out of the game with an injury.
And that was the worst-case scenario for the Bengals all season when they could not find a number 2. What do you do if it happens to A.J. White? Well, this is the answer, and it's the worst possible scenario.
5:58 to go in regulation, as we again have some issues with the feed on the technical end. We'll get that sorted away here as we're under 6 minutes to go in a 9-1 game. And an icing call on the play, as second time here that the Bengals have been guilty of icing. It's technically what you would call 4-on-4 play. Actually, it's now the Bengals killing off the penalty as the original Niagara penalty has expired, and now it's going to be a 5-on-5, but with no goalie in net for Buff State. Try to get the video fixed here as we get that, as play continues. We get ready for a face-off coming up inside the Buff State zone. And we get things sorted away here as we are now 5:46 to go in regulation.
Yeah, Bengals just trying to limp to the finish line right here and get out of here and, just lick their wounds and be ready for the next game. Good to see Niagara's possessing the puck and they're not trying to stat pad too much. I mean, obviously right there you put it on, but they're not like, you know what I'm getting at.
Bengals clear the zone, getting it out to center ice. They're basically killing a penalty here for 2:47 of time here in the third period. Train carries it into the offensive zone. He's been an impressive part of this Niagara attack tonight. He's a player that will certainly be a part of what they do going forward this season. Yeah. Bengals try to clear that one out of the zone, ends up going up and out of play. So now 5:22 to go in what has been a difficult-to-watch game.
Yeah, to say the very least. Bengals, you'd think maybe if this ends a little bit, they'll be able to, get some offense with a 6-on-5, but like I said, just not a whole lot.
I know there's some hope that things will improve after this weekend if they can get a more complete lineup, but the commitment certainly in question as Cook shoots it into the empty net. That was, I don't know about that shot.
Nice shot, dude. And then he's celebrating? Okay.
Yeah, and there's a conversation going on between Stoats and Train. Train running over the smallest player on the ice, Steven Pernetta. I'm sure he's going to be able to pat himself on the back and get some smiles about that hit later on tonight. Actually, his coach is having a conversation with him, maybe telling him that was a little bit unnecessary. Not a whole lot of toughness being shown when you knock somebody over who's got 8 inches and 80 pounds to make up on you.
Yeah,
Under 5 minutes to go. It's a 10-1 lead here for Niagara as play continues here as Mandia gets it here in the neutral zone, tries to get it across the blue line, makes one extra move, however, and it ends up drawing his teammate off sides. So a neutral zone faceoff coming up as we try to just get towards the end here of regulation. That's basically all you can say here about this game at this point, as the final horn is going to be merciful when it comes.
Yeah, to say the very least. I mean, you know me as well as anybody. I'm never, ever short of words. I got nothing right now.
DiMatteo here along the center ice red line, just shoots it there from mid-ice. I've been impressed by a lot of the newer players from Niagara and some of what they're able to do on the ice. Maybe not so much of their sportsmanship as of yet. Good play there by Jolo Tempio to block that one, playing goaltender in the position players equipment. As again, we have issues with our camera. Not exactly sure what's going on tonight with that one, but we'll get that sorted away here in short order. As the play continues here, approaching 9 minutes to go in regulation. Niagara carrying it through the neutral zone. Shot then taken from the top of the circle. Bengals getting the block on that one as Militello let that one go from the top of the circle. Stoats carrying that one out towards the front of the net, losing control of it as Bratton picks it up in the far corner. Bratton then trying to carry it out in front and get a shot from close range. Gets called down on the play by Cole Newman, and now another Bengals penalty. No, it was Cole Newman.
Newman got it. Yeah, Pernetta was in his pocket. Newman takes the penalty because, of course, he did. But
so 3:46 now to go in regulation, and it becomes even more difficult now for the Bengals. It's like
getting to the point where it's like if they start shooting, you're not even giving them you're not giving them an opportunity not to score on you now. Like, what are they supposed to do? Just not shoot at the open net when there's two of you on the ice? Like,
not a whole lot to say here, Sean.
It's to the point where I'm just trying to find words to say just so it's not dead air. But
play continues now with 3:46 to go. Clock isn't running. Scorekeeper needs to be on top of that one here in a game that's already out of hand.
Still isn't running. Holy cow.
Finally is as Cristaldi picks it up in the neutral zone.
We did not need those seconds added to this.
Wojciechowski now along the goal line as he's looking for a wraparound maybe there. Good play by Dene to deny that opportunity. Jolo Tempio over there to guard that left post as well. As now Niagara just working it around the perimeter here. Trying to show some sportsmanship, but this is I don't think any player knows what to do in a situation like this, as they're just trying to not be rude on one hand, but also you can still be doing the same thing, come across as rude if you actively avoid shooting it into an empty net. I don't know what you're supposed to do on either side here.
Let's just say I know how Al Michaels felt calling that Broncos-Colts game on Thursday. Just, it hurts.
Riddle carrying it in, looking for that shot.
That kid just can't buy one right now. I feel bad for him.
He might have another opportunity here. Oh, he can't get it. Riddle did score earlier on in this game, I believe, but he's had multiple opportunities.
He's been awesome tonight. He's been great. Like, he's finding the dead spots. He's doing what you want him to do. Just a snake decided to pick on him today for NU and bite him.
Crapsey getting behind the defense as the one Buff State penalty expires. Tries to get that pass out in front, unable to connect there as he tried to find Hager in front. Now they have to come back and play some defenses again. They try to shoot for the empty net.
I mean,
Joe Lotempio again making a save with the shin pad there as he is gutting it out to protect his net out there.
Doing a great job.
He's made 3 or 4 saves already. 2:15 now to go in regulation as Cook has it inside of his own zone. Drops a pass along to Train. Now Train carrying it through the neutral zone and getting it in across the Buff State blue line. Riddle then shooting it from distance.
Can he cover the puck if he's the goalie?
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask somebody with a little bit more refereeing experience than myself.
Refs don't like me. So.
I was certified over 20 years ago, so I have no idea what that rule is going to be. It's icing. This is an icing call. I know that one for certain, as Buff State going to be not allowed to make a change here, as we now have a minute 49 to go in regulation.
Ow.
And face-off's going to be, I was going to say to the left of the Buff State goaltender. It's to the left of the Buff State goal as Joe Lotempio camps out at the front of the crease.
28's a weird goalie number, too. I don't like it.
Niagara with too many players out there as they thought they had a change coming, but Knopf jumping out of the bench for the guy coming out of the penalty box. It didn't happen. And again, another save made there by Joe Lotempio. 28's not a weird number for a goaltender. That's Bob Sauvé. Buffalo Sabres legend from the 80s, Bob Sauvé.
Yep.
That's a name not familiar to you.
Still a weird number. I mean, Mikko Koskinen wears 19. That's weird, but he's good sometimes.
I don't think anybody's going to call Mikko Koskinen a legend for any team that he plays for.
They might.
Bob Sauvé, though. Okay, I got nothing else. Train again shooting for that empty net, now showing some frustration as Joe Lotempio has blocked 4 or 5 of them, unable to block that one.
They were annoyed. He actually, he ripped that shot, with some purpose. Actually, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, Kroll getting the empty netter there eventually to make this one an 11-1 score. And again, the camera showing some issues here on our end. Our apologies for some of our video issues tonight, but I think maybe the camera has has a mind of its own, and I can't necessarily agree that I don't want to see any more either.
I don't.
Minute 4 though remains. It's a new challenge in terms of broadcasting here, Sean. I never expected to call a game where 7+ minutes are played without a goaltender in one net.
Well, would you start James Cook in DraftKings tomorrow?
Interesting question. Probably not. I don't think I would start any Bills running back in anything that's fantasy football related.
Well, the game is only Bill Steelers though. It's not like I have to either choose Najee Harris or one of the Bills running backs.
Well, it's basically the same question you had if you had a Patriots running back on a fantasy roster 10 years ago. Maybe one of them's going to have a big day, but you never know which one of the 5 it could be.
So for the $1,000, maybe take the flyer on James Cook.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely what I'm saying.
Maybe he gets a garbage time screen pass. He takes 70 yards.
Could happen.
Or
they could decide to use him tomorrow.
Relax. He's a second-round rookie running back. That's not a thing.
But didn't they use the third-rounders when they were drafted in their first years?
I didn't say the logic made sense.
All right.
I love the coaching staff. They're doing a great job, but I just think that a team that struggles from the running back position should probably use their second-round pick.
There's a one-time shot from Mandia that gets through Joe Lotempio's shin
Clock's
pad.
Still running.
Into the back of the net. Yeah, we're finally going with running time. I would have liked to have seen that decision made a little bit earlier.
I
feel like the final score is now known. It's going to be 12-1.
Well, if they drop the puck, they might try to shoot
No, they
him.
stopped. The clock is still running. There are 10 seconds to go here on the clock in regulation. And none of the Bengals are stepping into the face-off circle, so that's going to be the way it ends here from the Buffalo State Ice Arena.
Holy cow.
Mercifully finally coming to a close from the Buffalo State perspective, as this was as bad as one can imagine it could be. a 12-1 shellacking at the hands of the Niagara Purple Eagles.
It was never even a competition.
Call it a close game for a moment there when Niagara took a penalty, a double major in the second period, and there was a bit of a pulse from Buff State. It didn't last long as they gave up their second and third shorthanded goals in this game. I don't know where to begin with the laundry list of things that are wrong with the team in orange and black, but it's
attitude.
It's basically everything that you can imagine going together
Twice.
to produce a team that couldn't be off to a worse start. That's what you have this year, as it's now 1-5 on the season for the Buff State Bengals. Niagara, meanwhile, moves to 4-1.
Good for them. Great team. They're well coached. Came in issues with the goaltender. Maybe it's hard to feel sympathy for, guys getting addressed the way they did. Hopefully PJ Abbott's okay. I don't think the shot to the jaw was necessary, but what are you going to do? We got a little conversation between, Coach Turner, Coach Krebs, 2 NU coaches, and Cole Newman. Curious to see what that's all about, but I'm sure we'll find out sooner than later. And just Bengals, all you can really do is just – you can't forget about this. They got to do something about it.
There were plenty of losses already this year that you could say this is one that you can't forget about, that you need to be able to find some motivation, and this one should be able to wake you up.
Nope.
This is 5 wake-up losses in a row.
So wake up or don't. I don't know. And
getting worse and worse by the game. We told you the goal differential during the pregame for the 4 losses coming into this one. Well, now the losing streak is up to 5 games, and the goal differential is a massive -29 for those 5 games. Not a whole lot to add to it. And the shorthanded goals against, unbelievable.
Awful.
There's a lot of things that you just scratch your head at here in this game.
Team that had national championship aspirations. Now, are we even dealing with a playoff team right now? Right now?
Well,
no.
Niagara County Community College, they're going to be the class of the Metro Division. Question is, if anybody wants to go ahead and grab that 3rd seed, Buff State has shown that they're
not ready yet.
They're not ready to,
or they don't want it. Whatever it is, they're not getting it.
To contend here in this division. They can't field a full lineup, and now they have injuries to add to it as well, on top of undisciplined play and just
bad hockey.
And bad hockey. This
Terrible
is
hockey.
What you get in a game like this, and really unfortunate to have to sit here and watch and to talk about, because this is
awful.
There's so much that can be said positive for what has been built with this program, from where it was to where it's been built to now, and to see it crumble so quickly in a season that was supposed to have a lot of promise.
Supposed to be the year.
A lot of head scratching is all that we can do up here in the press box.
Yep.
Buffalo State Club Hockey is sponsored by Ivy Leaf Pharmacy, a locally owned neighborhood pharmacy in Kenmore for over 60 years. By Militello Realty, Western New York's premier commercial real estate broker. By Pool Mart, for any pool, hot tub, or patio need, Pool Mart is your fun store. By 412 Communications, the new gold standard for small business digital media solutions. By Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey team uniforms, bags, and apparel. Find them online, enviousgameware.com. And by Colvin Cleaners, for dry cleaning, wash and fold, tailoring, and more. Colvin Cleaners is who the Bengals trust to keep their uniforms the sharpest in the league. That's going to wrap up our broadcast here from the Buffalo State Ice Arena. Niagara winning this one in convincing fashion by a 12-1 count. We're going to be back with you here on the Nickel City Hockey Network next Friday night as we bring you continuing coverage of the Upstate New York Collegiate Hockey League. That matchup will be St. Bonaventure squaring off against the University at Buffalo. Friday night, 7 p.m. from the Northtown Center at Amherst. Please join us for that broadcast a little less than a week from now. That's our broadcast for tonight. For camera operator John Dwyer, color commentator Sean McHugh, I'm Aaron Elpern. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.